This is Legends and Libations.
Welcome, everyone, to Legends and Libations. I'm your host, Matthew.
And I'm Jesse.
And today we have got an interesting episode for you. What are we talking about today, Jesse?
Today we're talking about Saint Joan of Arc, which is just a very strange saint in general, or a strange person historically. Like
Everyone knows Joan of Arc's name, but I don't think that they know a lot of details about her life.
in fact, she's kind of praised throughout. Like you hear her almost in like very like strong feminist icon. You hear about her. I have a friend that says weird things like, "Oh, that's my spiritual girlfriend," which is
That's a bit weird.
extremely weird. I don't know to this day what he means by that, but even people like Mark Twain, a skeptic and writer, praised her for her faith and her simplicity and her purity.
Right.
And he wrote a whole biography about her, or a whole story about her. So it's a strange person to really capture the imagination of so many people.
Well, before we get into that, I really want to thank everyone who has been supporting the show. We're up to 205 followers on YouTube now.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Those of you who listen on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or what is the other one? Pocket Podcast?
Pocket Cast.
Yeah, Pocket Cast. Those of you, we appreciate you. We're trying to pay attention to all of you. But
when we realized that there wasn't a good way to like get in touch with us, if you're not into social media, so we added a contact us form to our website at libationspodcast.com.
yeah, you can write us an email. You can ask us questions.
Right there on the page, if you just hit contact us, it'll go straight to our email, and then we will read it on the show.
Yeah, we'll
if
read
it's
it.
appropriate.
Yeah, if it's appropriate. If it's inappropriate, we might read part of it.
Actually, please just write us whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want. Even if it is kind of inappropriate, that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, and I want to test how the thing works to make sure it's working.
So write us so we know it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, so for Joan of Arc, there's so much conflict happening there. It's there's a lot of conflict between the French and the English, as pretty typical. I think that's just never changed.
They can never get along, it seems like.
Like never.
Not until there was like mutually assured destruction from nuclear missiles.
What was there peace between them?
Yeah, stop
And I'm
fighting.
not even sure there's really peace between them. It's just like
They're tolerable.
yeah, it's like its own Cold War.
Yeah.
So because of such a conflict, I decided to make a French 75 for Joan of Arc. First of all, a lot of the soldiers, the French 75 was a gun that like World War I and II.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of the French soldiers would have like a pennant of Saint Joan of Arc because she's known as the patron of soldiers.
Okay, that's cool.
Unironically, that makes sense. But also, this drink is a conflict of English taste of gin and the French taste of the champagne. This is my first time trying it, honestly, so I'm kind of excited to see how it goes.
I'm excited too. French 75.
French 75.
Let's go.
Uh-oh, spilling already.
I taste grapefruit, I feel like.
It has lemon juice. Okay, so pretty much it's made with a shot of gin, a half ounce of lemon juice, couple teaspoons of like simple syrup, and then it has just some champagne thrown in there, right?
This is our first drink with champagne, I think.
Yeah, we haven't had champagne before. This is we did a cherry on the bottom just because of blood. I feel like blood is
very present in the story.
Very present in the story, so why not?
I feel like blood is present in most of the stories that we do, if I think about it.
Except for Sir Orfeo. Yeah. Kind of. There was some blood.
I'm sure there was.
Yeah, there was. I take that back. So, yeah.
Shall we talk about the 100 Years' War?
Yeah, so to understand Joan of Arc, I think we need to understand at least some concept of the 100 Years' War, because
when we started researching this, we're like, everything was like, let me give you context of the 100 Years' War. And it was like you had to have a PhD in medieval history and like wartime strategy to be able to understand any of the things that were said.
That sounds like something I actually don't do. Even though I'm a medievalist, it's like in literature, not in war.
I'm going to try to distill down the 100 Years' War. I didn't know anything about this before we got into this, but I'm going to try to like give you the high points of it. So just so you can catch up, bring everyone on the same page.
Yeah, so all of us can be of equal footing, because like actually I like know two shits about the 100 Years' War. Even now, I know a little bit about Joan of Arc, but not much about the war. So I'm excited to learn.
Well, did you know that it was not actually 100 years? That's the first thing.
That seems deceiving.
Yeah, a little bit. It was about 116 years. So you could see where they didn't want to like call it the 116-year-old war.
Yeah, that sounds tedious.
A little bit.
But like the 116, maybe
100 Years' War is just a nice round number.
Yeah,
kind of averages out because there were some truces during the 100 Years' War. It was not all one long, prolonged, all-out conflict. There were some times where they took breaks and had tentative
We're having
agreements.
a war break.
They had a lot of war breaks, big ones and small ones, as we'll see during some of the stories that we're going to tell you today. Okay, so the 100 Years' War actually lasted from 1337 until 1453. So
Okay. That's a long time.
But we actually have to go back even further to set the groundwork for that.
Damn it.
Okay.
The groundwork for something that's already the groundwork.
That's okay. I'm going to anchor this to something that most people have heard of. Have you heard of what happened in 1066 with William the Conqueror?
He took England, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's the French who took the English.
He's the French who took the English.
Yep.
England. That's the important part.
I have to teach my students about that one a lot. That's pretty common.
Well, see, you know a lot about where the 100 Years' War started because William the Conqueror was a vassal of the French king. He was the Duke of Normandy. He was not the king of France. He was just like one of his subordinates.
Yeah, he was one of his men.
So then when William the Conqueror took over England, that made England subject to one of the vassals of the King of France. So you see how that just like puts England on a lower pedestal automatically.
Makes them the background or the swamp. It's also where a lot why the English language has a lot of like French and Latin, and then also a lot of Saxons. Why we can sound both German and Latin is because that French language came in at that time, and it became the language of the nobles. So all the rich, fancy people,
They're all related.
exactly. And they were all like, we're going to speak with these
Okay.
it's Latin French words, right? And then the Saxon language also is part of it. It's why we almost have 2 words for everything.
Yes.
Like to comprehend and understand. It's not different, but one's French and the other is German.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It does seem like we have a lot of words for everything.
Yeah. Well,
Are other languages like that?
we actually are one of the most, from what I understand, and I could be wrong because I'm not like a linguistic professor or anything, but we have over 100,000 words in our language.
That
the
sounds
next
like a lot.
biggest language is Chinese, which is at 60,000. And then most
really?
other languages are at 40,000 or less.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Wow. Well, you just taught me something.
Well, this is why we're here. We're here to learn something.
Occasionally, even
Learn
if
and
accidentally. Okay, so you've got the Duke of Normandy is now the King of England, and so that creates some resentment automatically between the two countries.
We hate when we are owned by people.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's
So,
something about it. Pisses us off.
Fast forward a little bit more, and then you come to 1152, where the King of England is now Henry II. He marries Eleanor of Aquitaine, who is a French noblewoman.
Oh, yeah. She has some pretty unique history.
And you know how like Marion is sort of more like a diplomatic thing, and these times is political.
Definitely for the noble class.
So by marrying her, he became not only the King of England and the Duke of Normandy, but he also took Aquitaine, which is like a region in the southern western part of France, and some other little territories too. So this made the King of England more powerful than the King of France. So now it's even more complicated. So
just pissing each other, just pissing them off. Yeah.
So in like terms of absolute power or like land, the King of England is the one that holds the most. But then in like titles, if we're just like going down the lineage, then it should be France's king is still higher than the
should be. But as his subordinate grows in power
and time passes by, they're like, why are we
doing this?
Subjecting ourselves to this? Yeah.
I wonder if Puerto Rico ever is going to do that to us.
I don't know. Did we talk about how Puerto Rico was thinking about joining Spain? I think. Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a political movement there.
Interesting. We should know more about our modern world, but as this is, we're in legends, libations.
It's because they get like the scraps from America. So they would pretty much be like any other country could take us. Anyway, this is not a modern political discussion right here.
It's true.
This is a medieval one.
So we're going to go back in time.
We're going to go back. So about the next 250 years, the French kings repeatedly spent time trying to chip away at these territories that the England had won from them, or had married into and inherited. And
I would go the Marian route anytime. Like Marian, inherit.
It seems pretty like bloodless too, as far as not revolutions, but taking over land.
Taking over. You don't have to do much. You're like, well, I married it, so it's mine.
Yeah, but now it's mine.
Old rules.
Exactly.
And they couldn't really get divorced at that time either. So
good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the more direct events that take place before Joan of Arc comes on the scene, but we still have to go about 100 years before her birth.
Holy smokes.
In 1328, this is when the actual 100 Years' War is getting going. Charles IV, he is the king of France, and he dies with no direct male heir.
Poor fella.
Yeah.
Poor lad.
I know. His closest male relative, though, is Edward III of England.
Ah, damn it.
So,
We can see the conflict here already. Oh, shoot.
but he was only the closest male relative through his mother. And the French had a major problem with the kingship passing through, the monarchy passing through the female line.
They've always had a problem with kingship in general. So, but also, yeah, especially that.
That's true. So it only had to pass through the males for them to be okay with it.
Sexist.
And so they said, sorry, Edward III, but we're going to pick this other guy named Philip VI of Valois, and he's going to be our king instead. And you can imagine that Edward didn't think too highly of that.
Yeah, like, hey, this is what I was raised for.
Yeah, and he especially didn't like that when Philip VI started taking those lands that belonged to Edward that were in France. So he starts like seizing these different places. I want to say that like this is where you start to see the lines drawn on the map, and I'll put it up there on the screen.
I'll be right there for you guys.
When it comes down to what we're going to talk about, like this blue area for France is going to be Joan of Arc's part. Okay. And then she's fighting against the people that are in the pink and the dark,
they're like
the darker.
They're surrounded.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, so yeah, it seems like they're surrounded by the English, and they're surrounded.
I'll tell you about that. Don't spoil it, Jesse.
Oh shit! Sorry.
That's going to be a major point that comes up in just a moment. Okay, so you've got Philip VI. He's trying to take back over Edward III's lands in France, and this is where they kind of have on and off treaties and truces to kind of like stop the fighting occasionally.
Yeah.
With varying degrees of who owns what. Like things are changing hands pretty frequently at this point.
Yeah,
There's a lot of battles that are happening. And so that goes on for about 60 years or so. That's not important to our story.
Yeah.
What is important to our story later on is that Charles VI becomes king of France.
It's okay, guys. We're going to get a little confused with language or with names here because there's like 5 guy names in that time. I don't know why there's not more, but there's like 5 guy names.
Yeah, it's like Edward, Charles, and William, and that's about it.
Yeah, and then we just run out. Maybe there's a John every now and then.
Yeah, and we start putting numbers after them.
Yeah, because like just
bear with
it's not
us.
like right now they don't have like a website where they can be like new baby names for 2025.
Which is exactly what we did.
Like now you had to be like, well, there's
like 5 choices. How many guys' names do I know?
If you were lucky, you got a weird name like Andrew.
You don't want to be Andrew though.
No.
Okay, so let's go back to Charles VI. Charles VI is affectionately known as the Mad King.
Uh-oh.
And he
Reminds
was
me of Game of Thrones.
so Charles VI had a lot of bad things going on for him. Mainly, it could have been like schizophrenia or something that he had. Because
that sucks.
While he was the monarch of this autonomous country of France, he was also very prone to mental illness, like bouts of delusion. And he believed a lot of strange things. Like for one, he believed that he was made out of glass.
What?
Yeah. So he thought that his body was made out of glass and that he was so fragile that he would shatter if he was touched.
So I've heard about this from
this is where it comes from. Like this is the main guy. If you look at the Wikipedia for medieval glass syndrome, that Charles VI is like the poster boy for that.
I'm not sure I would like to be a poster boy for being made of glass.
Probably not.
Is that like people now who we call like it's people who are very like fragile? But yeah, it's like does it just mean that he's like sensitive?
No, dude. He was having iron rods sewn into his clothes so that he would retain his like rigid shape so that he wouldn't shatter. He wouldn't let his like son hug him or anything because he was afraid that he would break. Weird. So he would spend all day just like being perfectly still for the most part and not letting anyone close to him because he thought that if he got touched that it was just done for.
That seems like a really tiring life.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there were also times where when he was traveling from one city to another, an account that I read is that they had been traveling on horseback for a while and that one of like the page boys dropped his lance and it startled the king and it like triggered this like paranoia episode that he had where he thought that everyone else around him was like trying to kill him all of a sudden. So he took his sword out and he slaughtered like 6 of his own guys before they could just like subdue him because they're not going to like fight him back because he's the king, which is
you
not
don't want to like fight him, but like also it's like,
what do you do? Yeah. So after some guys were able to like wrestle him off his horse and like pin him to the ground, I think he like faints for a while or whatever before he comes to again. But it turns out that he just killed 6 of his guys for no reason.
Yeah, no one's trying to kill him.
No, there were a lot of stories about how crazy the Mad King was. They would wall up the entrances to his palace so he wouldn't just like run out in the street and just like start being insane in front of everybody. So you can see how they didn't want like it getting out that the country was being run by a mad person. And whenever there is a mad person,
attractive feature for a country.
Whenever there is a mad person in charge, you know what that creates? A power vacuum or an opportunity for this council that was doing like the day-to-day runnings of the country, because the Mad King,
because the Mad King
he obviously can't do it. So you have this council form up, which is headed by his wife, who is Queen Isabeau. Okay, so the queen is running the council pretty much like behind his back because her influence is pretty substantial.
Sorry.
And there's rumors that the king's brother, Louis I, is having an affair with Queen Isabeau. So that automatically means that she's going to be like favoring his policies.
Yeah.
And that comes at the expense of the Duke of Burgundy. And the Duke of Burgundy is called John the Fearless. And so him and Louis kind of had this like back and forth thing where they're hostile towards one another's like desires. Like Louis I wants France to remain like an agricultural sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the Duke of Burgundy wants to like push it more towards like textile manufacturing and like closer relations with the English because he's already close to the English.
Yeah, like that's already his bee's knees.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's creating like more of a divide behind the scenes while you have the Mad King on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, around 1413, Henry V becomes King of England, and he's like a pretty powerful king.
Yeah.
Like as far as like military strength goes and divisiveness, like he knows what's going on. And so he like creates a resurgence in the war efforts in France to like go back and start taking over the stuff.
We need to get
like we put this on the back burner for a while because England can't always be just fighting one war. They're always fighting like 3 wars. They're fighting with the Scottish in the north. Some of their guys are over into like Belgium area and
probably they don't know what to do with
doing
the
stuff
Irish.
over there. Yeah, exactly. The Irish are probably causing trouble at the same time, but he wants to put forward this renewed effort back into taking over France.
Okay, yeah.
And so that was in 1413. And so he leads his guys over. They come in them ships, they make land, and they have what goes down in history as the Battle of Agincourt.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this before?
No.
I never heard of this before. I'm going to take a sip.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I also made your drink like overflow like a volcano.
Oh, you're good. Okay. So when it comes down to like populations of these countries, England's population at the time was about 2 million, and France's was about 10 million. Like,
oh shit, like how are you going to fight that?
You have the little guy beating up on the big guy like repeatedly throughout the story is what it seems like, or throughout the 100 Years' War.
Yeah, well, which is weird. It's like the guy came out of the swamp and just started whipping your ass.
Yeah. Well, the swamp is a good tie-in for the Battle of Agincourt because you've got these French knights on their horseback, their plate armor, and they're outnumbering the English. So it looks like it's just going to be a slaughter.
Yeah, like an absolute W.
But the English have an X factor that the French aren't really prepared to deal with a lot, and that's the longbow.
Oh yeah, the English longbow. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that changed the idea of war a whole lot.
It did, definitely. This was like the peak of the longbow being in the spotlight was right now. Yeah, longbow technology. It was like the great equalizer in this lopsided conflict that they had with the English.
Yeah.
So they were in this muddy terrain that the horses were trying to cross, and the horses are getting stuck in the mud. The French horses, the knights on their horses. And
they're wearing heavy ass armor.
They're wearing really heavy armor. Yes. So basically the horses are getting stuck in the mud, and the longbowmen are just shooting these like tremendous volleys of arrows that are just raining down on the French cavalry.
Sounds like a rough day.
Yes. So
sucks.
Your choices are like stay on your horse and get hit with an arrow, or get off of your horse into the mud and hope not to drown in the mud because you're wearing 100 pounds of armor.
Paladin armor.
Yes.
Like, oh, damn.
So it was like a complete slaughter of the French forces. 40% of the French nobility died in Agincourt because there were so many of like the noblemen there that they just like could not get out of the mud, and the circumstances were just so dire.
That feels embarrassing.
It was like a complete whooping. They just like sent them packing and were like, ha
ha, the swamp wins again.
Yeah, exactly. Take that.
Shrek wins.
Yep. So that was like an embarrassing defeat at the Battle of Agincourt. But before the Battle of Agincourt took place, you know how I was talking about that feud that they were having in the council of Henry VI?
Yeah.
So Louis the First, he's the one that's rumored to be having the affair with Queen Isabeau. One day he's leaving the palace, and a band of like bandits comes out and drags him off his horse and starts like beating him and like.
Wait, is this a king?
He's the king's brother.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
And a group of bandits are just like whipping his ass.
Yeah, and they start just like slaughtering him with like axes and swords and stuff in the street.
Et tu, Brute? Oh no.
And they say that he was so brutally murdered that the only thing that was left of him was his hand, and it was like stuck in like this kind of position or whatever,
like the Christ symbol.
I guess so,
yeah.
but it might have been just like the hand that he was putting up to like defend himself against people. Yeah. They say that his body was like mutilated so badly that the people that cleaned it up had to use shovels to scoop his body parts like into his coffin.
God. Yeah.
So he was like hardly recognizable afterwards.
Yeah.
And John the Fearless, Duke of Burgundy, claimed responsibility for this. He was like, yeah, that was our guys. And I did it because he was defiling the queen. And like he just framed it as like a patriotic sort of thing.
Yeah.
But of course, like King Louis's family, which is Charles VI family, they didn't like that. His supporters didn't like that.
Yeah, of course.
So John the Fearless, Duke of Burgundy, has just had Louis I, the Duke of Orleans, murdered, and that just like goes to further the divide between them.
Yeah,
basically,
like they can't be friends after this.
Yeah,
you can't sit with us.
If you want to think about how to describe the 100 Years' War in like one sentence, it's like a French Civil War that's wrapped in a war between the English and the French.
Which is so interesting because like, and then some of them are going to use the English as like allies at times.
You kind of already see that forming.
Yeah, exactly. And then other times, like they're only allies until they're not convenient to be allies.
Right.
But
There's a lot of that too going on. Like the Burgundians kind of sat on the sidelines sometimes just to like see which way the battle
and they would just kind of choose,
and then join the winner, which I mean, I don't know. It seems like they really don't have much honor in this whole saga.
They feel like the
Burgundians.
Yeah, Burgundians. They seem like the least honorable group in the whole story. Like their whole thing is just like they're just willing to anyone who'll pay them the most. These guys just seem like mercenaries.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so that was in 1407. Let me go back to remember the Battle of Agincourt was in 1415. So since Louis I was murdered, he had the hand that only survived. Then they had the Battle of Agincourt where the French got their ass whooped. So now King Charles's monarchy, hold on the government, is pretty much in shambles. Like nothing is going his way at all. He needs to look for a lifeline or make an ally somewhere if his name is going to live on.
Yeah, if he's going to move onwards, yeah.
Under the influence of his wife, Queen Isabeau, that they are going, and after their brutal defeat at Agincourt, they're going to try to have a treaty with the English and say, like, what can we salvage of this?
So they're making a treaty with the enemy. Yeah, okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Or that's on the table.
That's on the table. They're thinking about it.
Yeah, they're thinking about it. Before that, though, Charles's son, the Dauphin, Charles VII, he wants to try to save the country himself or whatever.
He's like, we can do this. He has like a patriotic pride there. He's like, we don't need to wait for...
We don't need the English or their help. We can do this ourselves. I'm going to meet with the Burgundians and see if we can unite France against the English.
And what year is this again?
1419.
Okay, cool.
And so he gets John the Fearless that we talked about earlier. He gets him to agree to meet on a bridge. He's like, you bring some of your guys, I'll bring some of my guys. We're going to meet on this neutral ground on this bridge. And
interesting on a bridge. It's a very narrow stage.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're having some peace talks there. And allegedly, John the Fearless, like he goes down on one knee, and I think that he's sort of just like pledging his fealty probably to to that side. And he puts his hand on his sword, maybe out of a sign of respect, maybe as some kind of like deceitful trick. I don't know. But the Dauphin's guardsmen interpreted it as an aggressive act.
So they interpret it as a threat.
Yes. So they take their axe and they, boom, bury it in John the Fearless's head. So they just split his skull right open on the bridge, and
there's the blood.
He's dead. And there goes the peace talks there.
Peace talks are done for. You don't get to murder that person.
Yes.
Have peace talks. Yeah.
You don't get to murder the person and have peace talks. So what do the Burgundians do? They go back home, and John the Fearless's son is called Philip the Good. That's not super important to the story, but Philip the Good goes immediately.
That they have names like this. It feels so medieval.
Yep. He immediately goes to the English and is like, hey, you don't like those guys? We don't like these guys. So let's team up against those guys.
Let's be against them together.
Yep. So now you have the Burgundian England alliance that's going to be against the Armagnacs, which is what the Dauphins and Charles's
VII.
followers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
and then they signed the treaty because there's nothing left to do. They signed the Treaty of Troyes because they're outnumbered.
what does that treaty accomplish?
It disinherits the Dauphin. So now the
he's no longer
he's not going to be in line anymore to inherit the throne of France.
Okay.
And instead, Henry V is going to be
of England.
Yes.
Oh,
He's going to be the king of France. All he has to do is outlive Charles the Mad because he's the current king. So
Okay.
once Charles the Mad, the sixth, dies, it will go to Henry V. And that should be easy to do, right? Because Charles is crazy. He's got schizophrenia. He's 18 years older than Henry V.
yeah.
So Henry V is just like kicking back, waiting for this guy to kick the bucket.
Yeah, of course.
But then Henry V dies when he's 35.
Oh, freaking A. 35's young.
Yeah.
What did he die from? Do you remember?
I don't recall ever seeing the details about why he died. But then 2 months later, Charles the Mad dies too.
So the conflict is.
And
alive.
the monarchy passes to Henry V's 9-month-old son, Henry VI. And then the French are like, we're not being run by a baby, that's for sure.
Can you imagine your baby running the country?
Pretty much, we've got one now. Yes, so that is the state of things when the main character of our story.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
You've set the stage. Like,
I hope I did a job where you can at least understand a little bit of what's going
a
on.
world of conflict, a world of like, how do we come from this? Like, how do we leave this stage? Well,
the one thing is that like when the people were alive, when you're like, okay, well, I'm one of Henry V's guys, or I'm one of like Charles VI guys or whatever. But now they're both dead and one is a baby and one is like maybe a bastard. So
a baby and a bastard.
Yeah.
The battle of the baby and the bastard.
Exactly.
That feels like a chapter in a book.
Yeah, it does. So there's a lot of what are we fighting for sort of thing.
Yeah. Are we fighting for the baby or are we fighting for the bastard?
So you have war-torn France now and no real cause to believe in is the scene that we're setting.
I'm going to start with this. Like Mark Twain said, it took 6,000 years to produce her. Her like will not be seen again on earth until it's been 50,000 more years.
That's a good quote.
He's talking about Joan of Arc.
High praise right there.
High praise for Joan of Arc. He claimed this Maid of Orleans. He claimed that it was like when he wrote a book about her, he said, I wrote the book for love, not money. Like
He must have really liked her.
And it's weird because he's a skeptic. He's not religious. He's not like
Is he 1800s or early 1900s?
I think like right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turn of the century.
Turn of the century. And he just loves her. It's a very serious toned book, like Joan of Arc herself. But it's crazy. Let's talk about like Joan of Arc. Some have said God sent her to save France.
She certainly thought so.
Yeah, she certainly thought so. But she is like a little farm girl. She's born January 6th, 1412. So right in the midst of this stuff. Right in the midst of stuff. She was from a French village.
Domremy.
Yep, Domremy. Good job.
You see that on the map is
Right.
over there.
Yeah, way on. Ooh.
Almost in the Burgundian territory, English controlled territory.
That's interesting. That's interesting. She had like her parents taught her well. But when I say teach her well, she was illiterate. She couldn't read.
They did the best they could.
They did the best they could. They raised her with a deep religious faith, but she was a peasant. She is a peasant, like the poor of the poor.
Right.
She grew up with farm animals sewing. She knew how to sew. She knew how to make her like.
That's important.
Yeah, right. And she knew how to raise farm animals. There is so like.
It doesn't get any more humble beginnings than this.
Yeah, like I don't even know, like a literate girl from the countryside. Like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, there's been 1,000 bajillion illiterate country girls that have not gone down in history, and then this one, boom,
The odds are stacked against you.
Yeah, so stacked.
They're not in your favor.
You're a woman in the 1300s, first of all, like, and you're not royalty. Like, there's no reason for that she should be remembered, and yet she has the glory of the Greeks, like the Greek people like Achilles and Odysseus. Joan of Arc's name is as known by what she has done.
I read that there was more written about Joan of Arc than there was anyone else from this medieval time period.
Yeah, like
more than the kings and the ages around her.
Because you had so much detail about her, so much. So I just want to start with like how nuts that is that like this girl out of like from nowhere, who is no one.
Think about where you live,
Yeah.
and then think about those towns out in the outskirts. Drive about 30 minutes in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And those are the towns that Joan of Arc is from.
Yeah, yeah. Those ones where you're like, I haven't seen anywhere for a while.
Is it Sunday or is everything closed all the time?
But at the age of 13, she's walking around the garden of her dad's garden, and she starts hearing voices.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't think we usually associate with something very holy. We're like, voices.
Voices.
If somebody says we hear voices now, we might think
Therapist.
yeah, we might think therapist, schizophrenia, maybe something like that.
Yep.
But she's not made of glass.
Exactly.
She does
important.
She is not anxious. She has these visions. She experiences visions. She's hearing voices. And she says it's from particularly 3 saints. These 3 saints are Saint Michael, the archangel, who we've talked about our last episode.
He was in the last episode.
It is Saint Catherine of Alexandria and Saint Margaret.
Okay.
Which is kind of like a interesting, like, just group in general.
Did you read that when she saw them, I think for the first time, that it was accompanied by like a bright light or the sound of church bells?
Yeah. Like there's this kind of like experience. There's a divine experience where she's associating it with God. She associates it with like the divine. So there's these 3 saints that are associated. Saint Michael, who's like the archangel, who's defender of the church, right?
We learned about him.
Yeah, we if you guys don't remember, go back to our last episode, the Halloween episode.
Huska Castle.
That
was a good one.
Yeah, that was such a fun one. And but like Saint Michael's that, like, he is that defender. He's that defender of the church, but also the patron of soldiers, right? From there, we also have Saint Catherine. Saint Catherine is also a patron of soldiers, strangely.
She had theme developing.
Yeah. She was a patron of, strangely, wasn't just a patron of like soldiers, but she was a martyr. She was tortured.
Okay.
Her legend was that she was tortured by a pagan emperor in the 5th century, and like she would debate like philosophers. What happens though is she was sentenced to death on a spiked breaking wheel. According to legend, the wheel miraculously shattered upon her touch.
That's cool.
And she was beheaded.
Oh, yeah. Lovely.
Yeah, I know, sucks. And then there was Saint Margaret of Antioch, who was also a martyr and was known for carrying a small cross, or a piece of the true cross.
Oh, cool.
Piece of the true cross, which irritated a dragon.
Oh, I love dragons.
And the dragon like ate her and then bursted open because of it.
Because it was so holy.
Yeah, because it's so holy. So some pretty weird. She's the patron of like women and childbirth and labor.
That's very different from the other ones.
Yeah, but a lot of martyrs there. A lot of martyrs.
Do you have to be martyred to be a saint?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
It just seems like a high percentage of them might have been martyred, at least the early ones.
Especially first, second, third century, when there was so many martyrs.
Like so-and-so was ripped apart on the rack. Yeah. Or was crucified upside down.
Welcome to early
There are stacked stones on them until their body was crushed.
Early Christianity seems so scary.
Yeah, it does.
Like your likelihood of being, but some of them, like your likelihood of being martyred was like up here. And some of them, like if they heard people were being martyred in places, they were so excited about it that they would go to that place to be martyred. Like either
that's
you're
so
in love or you're so done with this life. I could see it going either way. Like
suicide by cop.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, anyways, by the age of 16, she was predicting battles, and she predicted a battle of the French commander, and that French commander agreed to take her to Charles because she was just so like good at predicting war plans that she said it was from the voices. The voices are telling me these things. This
was specifically this instance where it's called the Battle of the Herrings. And I think that there were some reinforcements of supplies being brought to the English. And since it was during Lent, the main protein that they eat is fish.
Yeah, of course.
And that they just had this huge supply of herring in this caravan of like horses and carts. And English got wind that the French were on their tail to get them, and they circled the wagons and they made like a makeshift sort of palisade wall sort of thing. And back in those days, we talked about how like the Scottish were normally against the English a lot of the times. So the Scottish hated the English so much that they sent some guys down to help with the French. And so there was a Scottish regiment that was with the French regiment at this exact moment where this shipment of herring was coming in. And the Scottish guys said, oh, we'll just go in there full throttle. We're just going to go right up to their wall and knock it down. And we're going to cut these English bastards' heads off. And
get rid of them English, which
fight them head on technique doesn't always work a lot of the time. And
but the Scottish love that attack.
They did. I read that a few times, but it didn't work here. They got slaughtered. His name was like Stewart of Glastonbury or something like that, but that's not it. I thought I knew it, but I don't remember it specifically. Uh-huh. And when your comrades in arms are getting defeated or like having a tough time, you don't want to like leave them hanging. So the French sent their own guys after the Scottish to like back them up, and then they just kind of got slaughtered too. And then the English from like behind their lines, they're like, hey, we're doing pretty good in this like ambush attack right now. We're just going to chase them down and kill them. And so that they went on the offensive. They climbed over their walls and started chasing down the French and the Scottish, and they like slaughtered a bunch of them. Allegedly, Joan knew about this Battle of the Herrings before it could have traveled by like messenger on horseback to her village. And she told this to Robert Baudricourt at Vaucouleurs. And this was one of like the deciding things that actually like convinced him to send Joan
listen to this
to
girl.
Actually listen. Yeah. Okay. So
listen to this little farm girl.
Right. So, where Joan was like, it was like such a rural place that she had to go to the nearest like larger city in order to request safe passage to go see the Dauphin.
Yeah, because he was a little ways away.
He was away. He's all the way over here in Chinon. And this is back in Domremy where she is. So she would have to travel through enemy-held territory for hundreds of miles in order to see the crown prince. So she couldn't just do that. It wasn't something that she could undertake herself.
Yeah, it's like you can't just go there.
You need at the very least, a horse and probably like an entourage of people to protect you.
Yeah, like it's not like a easy trip.
So convincing someone powerful of her authenticity was vital to her mission. It couldn't have been done without it, pretty much. Okay, so her quest involves a lot of like extra stops. The voices that appeared to her, the saints, they set her with this mission, which was that she's going to liberate France from the English.
Yeah.
And
what a mission.
They gave her some specific like details too. It was specifically, she has to get to Chinon to meet the crown prince, the Dauphin, and escort him to Reims, which apparently is pronounced Reims, but
I've always heard it called Reims.
That's fine. We can say Reims. These pronunciations
are
driving me crazy.
Call it Reims.
Okay, so she's got to get the Dauphin to Reims, where he has to be coronated, because that is where French kings are traditionally coronated, because they have this like sacred oil stuff there that was allegedly given by an angel to whoever it was that coronated Charles Martel.
So like the sacred oil.
The super sacred oil.
Super sacred oil.
Yeah, from the super sacred city.
Super sacred oil from the super sacred city.
No one is going to take the Dauphin seriously if he's not coronated in the sacred city with the sacred oil, pretty much. So that has to happen.
Yeah, you need that.
So Joan goes strolling into Vaucouleurs to talk to Robert Baudricourt, and she tells him about this. And Robert Baudricourt looks at her, and then he looks at her uncle that escorted her there. And he says, take this girl home and give her a good beating. I don't know why I'm laughing, but it's just because of the suddenness.
Yeah, just the suddenness,
the bluntness of it. So she has to go back home though.
This is interesting just because like from her perspective, she embraced this kind of like call where she was feeling I am enlisted. I will not turn back. God's helping me till the English grip is loose from the throat of France. So she's like really believes that like
she's convicted.
She's convicted and convinced that like this is what she's supposed to do. In fact, the voices even have like told her multiple times this is what she's going to do. And she needs aid to Dauphin. Dolphin?
It's like Dolphin, pretty much.
The crown prince. They commanded her to follow their counsel and believe what they told her. But they also said whatever I have done was good. I've done at the bidding of these voices. So these voices are the things leading her. Mm-hmm. Which again, have you ever met someone who says that like they feel like someone's telling like God or some kind of saint is telling him to do something.
Maybe, but usually it's
Like, I don't trust it usually.
It's also in general in ambiguous terms.
Yeah, like it's not. Yeah, it's
not
like,
like go here, get the crown prince, go to this city.
yeah, it's so very like, ooh, God told me to be a good person or something. Like it's not ever like so specific where you can like, ooh, okay.
God told me to get a degree in general business.
God told me to become an artist.
Anyway, you can justify anything by saying God told it to you.
God
which
said to me,
which is basically another version of think of the children.
Yeah, right. Think of the children. God told me. But that's so interesting with her because like it seems like she was getting real answers.
Mm-hmm. And she started to gain a little bit of a following at this point during her trips back and forth between Vaucouleurs and Domremy. She started to get some people that believed in her because there was this prophecy that had been going around for a long time. This was like common knowledge. It wasn't like a secret ancient prophecy that's only found in the depths of the Minas Tirith library that Gandalf looks at.
Secret.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently Merlin from Arthurian legend had made a prophecy that said that France would be lost by a woman but saved by a maid from Lorraine. And the region that Joan was from was called Lorraine.
Oh, interesting.
And the lost by a woman part is Queen Isabeau, because she's the one who pushed Charles the Mad to sign the treaty, which disinherits their son, the real French prince.
Did you call him the real fresh prince?
The real fresh French press. Not French press, French press. French prince. Fresh prince.
The real fresh French prince.
Whatever. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, so that could be the lost by a woman part.
Yeah.
And then you see Joan, okay, maybe that's the maid from Lorraine, possibly.
I mean,
she wasn't believing it at this point yet, I don't think.
Yeah, she wasn't there yet.
Because it was just getting the ball rolling for the first time. But after that instance that you told us where she knew about that battle ahead of time, and she told Robert de Baudricourt that he was like, fine, I'll give you an escort. I'll give you these 6 guys and a horse, and they'll take you to Chinon, and you can tell this to the Dauphin yourself.
Yeah. Just a crown prince or the Dauphin is such a cool name.
The Dauphin is a really cool name.
To be called the Dauphin is so like freaking badass.
We'll find out that his name is way cooler than he is.
Okay.
I think.
We'll take it. Okay, we'll take it.
It's one of those instances. Like you don't deserve to have a cool name. We'll see.
Yeah, well, that happens sometimes.
Like Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right. They don't deserve that.
No, I thought that would be a really cool sounding band. And then I listened to him. I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, wait. I'm not allowed to say that.
Yeah. Okay. So in order to travel safely, it wasn't, even if you have 6 guys with you on horses, it's not a good idea to be a woman crossing medieval France during this time period because there's open warfare. You know what open warfare means is that like the towns and stuff are like lawless pretty much. It's like the Wild
they're
West.
Just doing whatever they want.
There's no repercussions for doing anything. So in order to like blend in more, this is where she dons men's clothes for the first time.
So she starts wearing, so this is where she starts, but because she's known for cross-dressing, and again, not in like the modern way.
Right.
But
more in like a my life depends on it sort of way.
Like as long as people think I'm a guy, then there's a lot of protection.
Right. They're not going to try to rape me.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we misunderstand that in the modern world.
Yeah. And because we're not threatened for our life very frequently.
Very often.
We need to be a little bit more, I think.
Yeah. It would do us some good.
Yeah.
We would maybe value
maybe like once a year. A
little threat.
Have some kind of like life threatening thing happen. If that's not cancer or like a sickness or something like that.
Like a person.
Like a battle.
Yeah, like a battle or someone hits you.
Yeah. Or chases. Like it needs to involve some kind of like chase.
Yeah. Or like you have to do something. It'd do us some good.
Because you'd probably be in like a lot more like physical readiness if you had the possibility of like that happening.
If I could possibly die.
Yeah.
I think I would take Taekwondo and Muay Thai at a whole new level.
Everyone would.
I feel like I do it pretty good.
Your Taekwondo classes would be like standing room only.
Yeah.
You'd all be moving in the same like formation, or else like one of you would fall down and it would cause like a domino effect and everyone would fall down. So she is being escorted by these guys on horseback, and eventually she cut her hair short. That's another important thing.
Yeah.
Because apparently the Joan of Arc hairstyle is like a legendary thing in and of itself. They call it like the French bob, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
The French bob. Okay. I didn't know the French bob was.
But like the bob or whatever it comes from Joan of Arc, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
So she cuts her hair, has the men's clothes, probably keeps like mostly just her face covered for the most part, maybe like just her eyes.
Do you think she like charcoals a beard in?
Well, if her face is covered a little bit, she wouldn't have to, but I don't see that being a bad idea.
Yeah, I would charcoal a beard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like nothing says man like having a beard.
She would have this like, I don't know what you call it. It's like the kind of thing that women wear that they lace up around them. Corset. Yeah. I don't know if it was not a corset specifically, but it was like armored like a corset or whatever that had to be tied up. And like most of the time you wouldn't sleep in that, but like in order to keep herself safe from possible attacks in the nighttime, she would wear this to sleep in while they were traveling.
Yeah.
And so eventually they make it to Chinon, and I imagine that the Dauphin is aware of her presence, like at the gate or whatever.
Like he must know about it.
You can't just walk in at this time and like see the king.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I guess walking into like starting to research this, I was like, why doesn't she just like go in and talk to him? But it's like you have to have a presence or an audience with the king.
Yeah, you don't just say, "Hey, king, what's up?"
Yeah.
But I mean, could you imagine like me and you couldn't get to the president?
Right.
Good point. Just like, hey, what's up? Blue Religions and Libations. We're going to interview you or whatever.
Secret Service is like, whoa, and then you're like, Taekwondo.
I can fight you guys.
I can't.
We can't just walk up. So I guess it makes sense.
Yes.
It's you just might have an English longbow in that bonnet of yours.
Right. That's funny. Back in the day, it was a lot more obvious when you're like a threat to somebody. Unless you had one of those like poison rings that those women used to have. Though.
The poison rings are really convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
The dagger in your kind of sock that the Scottish have is kind of cool too. Mm-hmm. It's like a thing they hide in their sock.
But you could pat somebody down for that. Probably.
Yeah. Well, no one's going to pat too hard on a kilt.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like, oh, I can see everything.
Might find something they don't want to find.
Yeah, they're like, I'm not looking for that. Is that a dagger? Are you happy to see me?
That's good. Okay, so the Dauphin is kind of a little bit skeptic, or at least wary of,
as he should be.
Yes, granting an audience with someone who claims that they are possibly associated with like a prophecy.
Yeah, and they're hearing from like these saints, which again, this is a Catholic world, so hearing from like the prayers to like saints and stuff is not unusual, but I would say everyone would say it's unusual once you start hearing from things. Right?
He's had a couple of other people come into his court that have claimed that they have been able to like predict the future and interpret like prophecies and voices and stuff like that. So he's a little bit like, I've heard this before.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do this.
You guys needed to try a different trick to
he's
talk to me.
With the charismatics. Mm-hmm. He's like, give me something new.
So the Dauphin decides that he is going to do a spur of the moment test on Joan when she comes in to determine her authenticity. And so what he does is he changes clothes with one of his retinue, one of his guys that are just like out in the crowd or whatever, that are just always at court. You know how those people are just always there, the lingerers.
The lingerers, the groupies.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So
they're like, ooh, Dauphin. And
so he's like, hey, you.
Get my clothing.
Chris, go here, take my clothes, my cloak, my robe, my hat, my crown.
I'm pretty sure Star Wars did this in the first episode.
Oh, yes. Maybe they got it from this. I didn't know that was Keira Knightley in that scene with Natalie Portman for like 10 years after that happened.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Did great.
I could still go back and look at it and be like, really?
Is it?
Is it? I'm not sure at all. But okay, so he does the Natalie Portman, Keira Knightley switcheroo with one of his guys at court. And so on the throne, you have just some rando sitting there. And he looks and is dressed like the king.
And they don't even have photos at this time.
Like Joan has never seen what the Dauphin looks like at all. She has no idea.
There's no iPhone to just be like, ooh, this is what he looks like.
Mm-hmm. So she enters the room and she walks up to the throne, looks at the guy, turns around, looks at the crowd, and makes eye contact with someone that she knows immediately is the real crown prince. And she just walks straight up to him and gets down on one knee, bows to him, and is like, you are my king. And everyone's like, wow. Confirmation right there. Let's just start doing a slow clap. Yeah.
Everyone's like, well, damn, she knows things with her fake beard.
Mm-hmm.
Does he know she's a girl?
Oh, I'm sure that he does. Yeah.
So she's just dressed.
The news is that she is a girl.
Yeah. Okay. So she's just dressing like that for the boys.
Yeah, that was like an appearance.
Yeah. That's like an appearance, so people aren't like, hey, who's that lady?
Because if she was like making a big deal of her being the Maid of Lorraine or something, then that would put more of a target on her back.
Yeah. And everyone would probably hit on her. Everyone wants to hit on the Maid of Lorraine.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So like maybe
I can't even imagine what that was like.
Yeah, jeez. So dressing like a man was like definitely a way of protecting that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so she goes up and talks to him. He's impressed by her authenticity,
as he should be,
and sincerity, and the fact that she was able to pick him out of the crowd. There's some say that story didn't actually happen, that it was all staged, but whatever. But this is Legends and Libations. So there was another aspect to this that helped convince the Dauphin even more, is that once everyone had gotten used to her being there, that they were kind of like squabbling about whether or not to believe her, and some people are going to be negative. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to have like the newcomer be the usurper and stuff like that.
No one wants the newcomer to be more popular. Like she doesn't wear pink on Wednesdays. Like that's the second time I've said something about Mean Girls. I've quit.
No, that's okay. I like Mean Girls, but I've only seen it one time. So the Dauphin takes Joan aside to a room together, and they have a conversation to which no one knows like the exact details of.
We wish they were in the room, I'm sure.
Did you read about this?
No.
Okay, so apparently that Joan was able to tell Charles a secret or some kind of like truth that only was between like him and God, that he had never told anyone before.
So she's doing like the Jesus thing, was like where I saw you under the tree, that he tells one of the disciples. She's seeing things that only him and God share.
Possibly.
Holy smokes.
So they come out of that room and Charles is super convinced that she's the one, that we should put our faith in her. But we've got to have her like verified by the leaders of the church or whatever.
Yeah. The leaders of the church need to prove.
They have to have this too, because it can't just be, I mean, it can just be his support, but as you can see, since everything's so fractured right now, that you don't need half of the country.
You need the support of the church.
Yeah, you need the support of the church.
Well, and like at this time, we're thinking of a culture where like, I always have to explain this to my students. Like right now, we're so used to church and state being separate. In ancient societies, especially like ancient pagan societies,
they were like the same thing for a long time.
And even when they became Christian, they were the same thing. They didn't imagine a difference. Because
it originated together.
Sort of. Like, well, they brought them out of the ashes of Rome together. And so to be king is also to be godly, is also to be Catholic.
That's a good point.
Like, so there's almost this unimaginable attachment to one another. And so, if they're going to look for, like, they need the improvement of the church, because that also gives this kind of improvement of like the support of protecting France from England.
It legitimizes it. For sure.
It makes it more of you can say God said so.
100%. Do you want to tell us what the church leaders did to like verify her in this instance? Okay, I can do it for the most part. Is that okay? So basically, what they wanted to do was confirm that the things that Joan was saying were truthful and that she was authentic. So they had to like
check her to see if she was like not just saying random goober gobble.
They had to like subject her to a series of like tests and interrogations to see if she cracked. Pretty much.
This is a time of inquisitions. Like, this is like where people are like really testing out for heresy, testing out for like like they're trying to keep the impending Protestant Reformation at bay.
Right.
Which is going to happen.
That's a good point. That's interesting.
They're trying to hold back this kind of splintering of the world, and there's also the threat of nationalism happening. Where
like the birth of this is kind of happening right now at the same time, and there's also like the other aspect that if Charles were to associate with Joan and like give her any kind of legitimacy, that if she ended up being a heretic or proved to be a heretic, it would make him look bad as well.
Well, because it would look like a witch was giving him all that power.
Right. Like in South Korea, like a few years ago. And I think they proved that like some cult leader had been like influencing the prime minister for a long time. I don't remember anything else developing from that story. I need to like look into that.
More about that story.
Did you ever hear about that?
No, that sounds super interesting.
I'll look back into that and I'll give you an update on it.
Maybe we'll talk about it next episode.
Maybe so. Okay, so what they do is they get a bunch of clergymen and they start like quizzing her on the Bible and on like the way that her visions appear to her.
Trying to really pay attention at Sunday school.
Yeah, exactly. And it's particularly hard because she's not literate. You know what I mean? She hasn't been reading the Bible herself, but Joan is very sharp with her answers and her responses. And she's like unwaveringly consistent, which
says more about a lot of things.
Yeah, because one of the questions that we'll probably talk about at the end is like whether or not she was schizophrenic and whether or not her visions were real. But one of the biggest arguments for her actually having these real visions is that these people that are talking to her had firsthand experience with Charles VI, the Mad King. He was mad. He was like completely unhinged.
And they knew he was unhinged.
Right. Temperamental. Every day was different. You never knew which version of him that you were going to get. This guy believed that he was made out of glass, literally. He would murder his own people. He didn't recognize his family a lot of the time.
Yeah, so it's like we imagine like people back then don't know about mental illness, but they literally called him Mad King because they knew about that shit.
Yes, 100%. Good point, Jesse. So they knew what being actually mad looked like. And they just wanted to see if Joan exhibited any of these like similar symptoms. And it turns out that she didn't. So they sent Joan to the city of Poitiers, and where a bunch of nuns conducted a test on her to see if she was still a virgin, because that was like
super awkward.
It is. I'm sure that it was really awkward. Just like when the doctor like checks your nutsack. Yeah. But probably more invasive.
It seems more invasive.
But she passed the test, so that was good. And that gave like credibility to the prophecy, because the prophecy specifically said that it would be a maid from Lorraine. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so she passes all the tests from the nuns, the clergymen, the theological people can't find any fault on her. She was declared like super sincere and pious, and that she was basically above board on like all of her church knowledge. And
they're impressed her.
Yeah,
they're impressed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They don't doubt her.
They don't doubt her at all. And so Charles is like, okay, I'm going to throw my support behind Joan. But first she's got to get ready.
Yeah, she can't just walk into it and be like, hey, guys, I'm fighting for you. Yeah. There's a couple of things that I feel like are really strangely legendary about Joan here.
Tell me about them.
So first, we need to talk about her banner. She has this banner she carries around.
So basically, this is like the glow up.
Yeah, this is her glow. This is her like.
This is the montage.
People looking at her and be like, that woman is a badass.
This is in Toy Story 2, where the old guy's like taking Woody and putting him on that thing and like repainting his boot and like shining his shoes and
this is like
his hat and stuff.
She's becoming the classic like archetype of badassery, and like everyone wants to everyone either has a crush on her or wants to be her, right? Mm-hmm. Like this is her glow up.
She gets a new set of armor. Which is specially made for her.
Yeah. Actually made for a woman, which is weird in general, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so that's not common. You don't need that.
What else does she get?
She gets a banner, like a flag.
That's important.
She carries into war. Mm-hmm. This flag is a white banner sprinkled with those like weird like
the fleur-de-lis.
Yeah, exactly. The flowers of sorts. On each side.
That was Charles's like part of it, contribution to it. That symbolized his family.
Yeah, symbolized his family.
In France.
Really that kind of internal power. Mm-hmm. On one side, a figure of our Lord, or like Jesus in glory, holding the world, which is important. Like this idea that Christ is king.
I remember that.
Christ holds the world, and giving his like benediction to a lily, like doing that blessing. Oh, doing the blessing symbol, right? Held by two angels. So an angel on each side, kneeling on each side, with the words Jesus and Maria, or Jesus and Mary, right?
Jesus and Mary, yep.
Which is how she signed off all of her letters. Jesus and Mary.
I saw that.
Yeah. And then on the other side, there was a figure of Our Lady and a shield with the arms of France supported by two angels.
That sounds pretty impressive. Do you have a picture?
Yeah, here's a picture for you.
Okay, dude. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll put that up for you guys right there so you guys can see it. It is pretty badass.
I was actually looking for a picture of this last night to put into the graphic that I sent you, and this is different than the ones that I found. I had trouble finding them, so like that's good.
And of course, so she has this like foresight and wisdom in war. She often repeats that she's never had to kill anyone. Like that's just one of her things. She's like, I've never had to kill anyone.
She's not been in a battle at this point.
Which is weird, right? Yeah, which is weird. But not just along with her banner. That banner she carried into war all the time.
Some say the banner was the most important thing a lot of the time.
Yeah, the banner becomes this kind of icon of like the French winning. Like the French are going, it's almost like when Moses held up his staff and they were winning the war, she would hold up her banner and they're winning the war.
I got a good story about that later on.
Okay, for later? Yeah. Okay. But there's another thing that she has to get.
So she's got her banner.
She has her banner.
She's got her armor. I want to say that she keeps the same horse that Beauregard gave her, the white horse.
Yeah, the white horse. The white horse, the banner. Mm-hmm. But what does every soldier need?
A weapon.
Yeah, something.
You can't just go into battle with a flag.
Hey, yeah, exactly. You can't just go with the flag. If you had a weapon, what would you want your weapon's name to be?
Excalibur.
The Master Sword.
I don't know. What's the right answer?
I don't know the name.
Oh.
she rather, the way she finds a sword is amazing. Mm-hmm. So she is taking a trip to actually Santiago, where St. James is buried.
Okay.
Yeah, a very common pilgrimage in the medieval world. She stops at a church called St. Catherine and it looks like Fear Boys or something, Fire Boys, but it actually means fierce wood. So it's St. Catherine of the Fierce Wood. It's a cathedral known for the miraculous. A very common thing for soldiers to do after battle, like knights, would be to offer their weapon and armor at the altars and keep them there. Which is a lot. Yeah, their own weapons, armor. After they won a battle, it was like they would leave it there. It was like an offering of like, first, like, hey, I've gone to war, I've done the thing, but also it's like a letting go of it.
Right.
Like,
because you got to separate yourself a little bit from it.
Yeah. And so this was a way of being like, thank you for letting me stay alive. Now let me churn from this.
The life. PTSD.
Yeah. Well, and you put that armor on, you're a different person, right?
You have to be.
You have to be.
You have to put that in a compartment. Or
have
else,
you ever
like,
thought about like how like these men who would go to these wars to defend their people would have to come home and be loving fathers, righteous men, people who go to church, like they're like fucked up, and like they have to somehow still be good men.
That is like PTSD in a nutshell.
Yeah, and but they do it, and like I think some of the ways they do this is they like leave their armor and stuff at the church.
Do you think that it's worse nowadays? Like, I'm sure that it was bad then, but it was also pretty commonplace then, so it was like normalized to an extent. But you hear the stories now of like people not being able to adjust back to civilian life or like normal life after they have seen combat. But do you think that that is probably because it's kept so separate? It's like such a stark contrast between the battle life and the normal life.
Yeah, it's very normal for a farmer back then also have to fight a battle. Well, now.
So they had more practice at it probably back then, or it was closer to home as well.
To home, and they actually knew what they were defending. They weren't going out to nom.
Right.
They were like, oh shit, there's people right at the end of my driveway
street trying to kill me. Yeah.
And so it became more real to them. Even if
the wars were still rich men's wars, they are today.
Yeah.
They were back then as well, like for these monarchs that you'll never meet or like never talk to.
Yeah. But
it was happening in your front yard, like you said.
Or at least you were walking to it. It was somewhere you could walk.
And you knew people that were affected by it, and it affected your like hometown directly a lot of times.
You're thinking like not too long before this, you have like the Moors coming up through Spain and France having to defend from them. And so like they're not unused to the idea of war.
Because nowadays, let's look at our map.
Yeah.
If you're signing up for the military and you're over here in like Southeast America, but you're being sent to like over here to fight.
Yeah, and you don't even care about over there. That's not home.
No, exactly. Like, why are we being sent over here to fight? What's the point of that?
That's not home. That's not me defending like my homestead.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. So like we were seeing a much more like reasonable reason to fight.
Right.
More hands-on. Like the Moors are coming up through Spain, and they're like, oh, we gotta hold those people off. They're taking away our culture. So yeah, of course.
And that made it easier for them to compartmentalize it, probably.
And also, I think like they didn't actually put it in too many compartments. They were like, they would leave it at the altar. Yeah. They're like, man, this
was a way for them to keep it separate.
Yeah, this was a way they would.
Death was also like more of like a way of life than
like
it was.
You knew,
now.
Death was very close.
It wasn't also separated and compartmentalized.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so she needs a weapon.
She does. Joan needs a weapon.
Joan can't just go around with her flag.
No, you're gonna
like
wave
that whole
someone to
English
death.
Comedian script where it's just like, I put a flag in it, I own it. She needs a sword to be a little bit more badass. So actually, Charles VII offers her a sword, and she's like, no, this isn't the one.
Interesting.
This is not the sword.
What does
she just denied a sword from the king.
Oh, he's probably offended.
He's not because of who she is. So at St. Catherine of the Fierce Wood, which I don't know why it's called St. Catherine of the Fierce Wood. It sounds like a badass name, though.
It sounds like she's a witch. She's the fierce in the wood.
St. Catherine is very cool, but I love.
She the one with the dragon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So she's
No
cool.
wonder.
But there was some sense of her where she in her heart felt like in the Church of St. Catherine, somewhere behind the altar in a room buried, there was a sword for her.
Oh really?
Which sounds like some most Legend of Zelda shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is Skyrim on steroids,
It also sounds like Excalibur
right?
to an extent.
Yeah.
Like this buried sword in a church monastery.
Yeah, where no one can find it except that person. The voices indicated her the spot, but she didn't want to she told others to go look for it.
Mm-hmm.
She told other men, the men of Charles VII, to go
That's a
look
good
for it.
idea.
So it wasn't just her. And they found a blade that was covered with rust, but the moment they just wiped it, the rust came off and it was perfectly
That's cool.
shiny.
What was on it?
Okay, so the sword, which again was found, there actually was a sword found somewhere behind the altar in a room. The priest knew of no such sword. He was like, well, I don't know of this thing.
I don't know. I'm just here. It's my day job.
This little voice kept on telling her, it's under the ground. It's in this room. It had no sheath. It was very rusty. The priest really quickly polished it. It was perfect.
And it had 5 crosses on
had
it.
5 crosses. It had 5 crosses.
That's the point I was waiting for you to get to. I didn't want to
sorry.
ruin your punchline. 'Cause she knew that it had 5 crosses on
she said,
it. Yeah,
it has
that's what
5 crosses, and then on it had 5 crosses. Now, which is interesting is it the Jerusalem cross? The Jerusalem cross is like one cross, and then it's like a square cross, and then on the corners it has crosses.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll put the Jerusalem cross up there for
I
you
didn't know
guys.
that. Okay.
Was it that kind of cross, or was it just 5 crosses around it, or on the
In
blade?
every recreation that I saw, it was just 5 in a line.
5 in a line.
But
Okay,
I never
so
heard anyone say that thing about the Jerusalem cross. So that
I
also
wondered-
might make sense.
I wondered because
Yeah.
the Jerusalem cross is a pretty typical Crusader cross. It is the one on the front that it's like you see the cross here, and then you see the cross in each
Did it say
corner.
whose sword this belonged to?
Yes. So this is where it gets weirder. There's 2 things. It could have belonged to Charles Martel,
Oh, Charles Martel.
who is the grandfather of
Charlemagne.
Others say literally also went to Charlemagne.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you guys have not listened to our Spear of Destiny, Charlemagne is.
We talk a lot about that
Yeah, we talk about
geopolitical dynamic in Central Europe.
He's kind of one of the big badasses.
Holy
in
Roman
history.
Empire overview, I would say,
But that means she has the sword
of Charlemagne.
Charlemagne. The family of Charlemagne. Let's take it a little bit further. Charles Martel used this sword to block off the Moors from coming through Spain. So it was used in a crusade, probably the more legitimate crusade, to protect Europe from the Moors. It was used to protect that. So he used it there.
This is a crazy relic.
Yeah, this is one of those relics.
Yeah.
This is one of those
It's got
relics.
so much history imbibed in it and victory and conquest.
And when he put it in the church, when he buried it in the Church of St. Catherine of the Fierce Wood, he literally said that this sword, the next person whom God chooses to find the sword, will be the person to save France.
Nice.
So, make the sword more badass? You can't.
No.
You can't. It's with all we know, it's probably infused with one of those nails from the Spear of Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
Let's put it there. Let's put
Yeah,
it there.
that's funny.
Furthermore,
Are there any more historical weapons that are greater, that have a greater pedigree
does
than
anyone
that
have
one?
any more pedigree? If you guys know of a weapon that could be more legendary than the Spear of Destiny or the sword or
The sword of Charlemagne and
Yeah.
Charles Martel.
go ahead and write us and we will do an episode on it because it's worth it.
Yeah. The Spear of Destiny is one that
It
you would
is
say.
literally the Elder Wand from Harry
Uh-huh.
Potter, but turned into the actual spear.
I don't know if the Spear of Destiny that we didn't talk about during the episode was were they using that to fight with?
Or did they just have it like a
Yeah.
banner?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. So
Hitler didn't want it to fight with it.
no, he just had it. He just possessed it.
Yeah.
So again, Charles
got the
Martel
sword.
secretly buries this. And she's the one who the voices tell her where it is, and they find it, and they're like, "Holy shit, here it is! You're amazing!" Fist bump, woman in battle. That's what they're thinking. They're like, she can do it all.
And this whole time they've been kind of training her in the basic combat techniques, how to move around the plate armor, tactics. Maybe I don't know if she knew bows and arrow and that sort of stuff, but
yeah,
she was getting the overview, the crash course, we'll say, in how to be a medieval soldier at this point.
She was thinking of that. She even thought about sharpening the sword, but she actually in her one of her trials, she admits, she's like, I chose not to sharpen it because I chose that I'm never going to kill anyone.
Okay.
Which is interesting. So she never sharpened her sword, but she had it. And she even had a velvet thing made for it. She had 2 different like sheaths made for it. One was a beautiful velvet one that she held in like, it's weird because she becomes very like, you remember in the Hunger Games where she has like that cool dress and like she becomes this kind of like supporter of like the low and lowly, the humble and lowly.
Yeah.
It's weird because Joan of Arc becomes that a little bit.
Of course she does, because she's from a peasant town.
She's from a peasant town, and she has this velvet like sheath with this legendary sword. She's holding this badass banner, and she's like on top of it. She's carrying these things into battle. Like this is pretty freaking amazing, right? Mm-hmm. But something happens.
What happens?
All right, so we're out of champagne for our last drink. Whatever.
I really wish they made bigger bottles of that.
Yeah, I should have bought 2. So now that she has her badass sword that comes from the saints who told her where it was buried in a church, and it's probably Charlemagne's.
And it doesn't have to be sharpened.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be sharpened. And she's also has her banner. She goes forth. Like, she is literally going with the most badass weapon, probably infused with some kind of spear of destiny shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's gotta be.
Yeah, it has to be.
God's plan, dude.
And then she's also like, has that cool banner. Mm-hmm. So
she's ready to go.
Yeah,
pretty
she's
much.
ready to go. So
she's just waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, right. So what does she do?
Well, you know how we just talked about how like Charles had put her through these interrogations to determine her legitimacy of the voices,
which you have to. Like if somebody says they're hearing voices, you don't want to be like, cool, I trust that.
So they found out that she was pious. She was still a virgin. She was sincere.
Totally rad.
Not crazy.
Not crazy.
At least on the outside.
Yeah, she's not made of glass.
But the clergy, yeah,
she is not
doesn't
made
think
of glass.
she's made of glass.
She is a badass. She's not made of glass.
They just took a little hammer and were just like, okay, not made of glass. All right, there we go.
Sensitive.
But the men of the church could not determine conclusively whether or not her voices were actually coming from God or angels or delusions or from demonic forces, which was the belief, possibly.
Of course.
And but luckily, there was a good test to determine if this was true or not.
There's a test for that?
There is a test for that. Do you know what the test is?
I do not.
Send her into battle.
See if she lives.
Yes, see if what she says is true.
I guess that's like a way to really test someone.
So this whole time, she's telling Charles that she is there to deliver him
they should
to
do that with more
Reims.
Cult leaders.
Yeah, to determine if to have him crowned in Reims as the French king. That's her mission from Saint Margaret, Saint Catherine, and Saint Michael.
Yeah.
And so it's
just so interesting that she has those 3 saints. Yeah.
Do you know, do you have an idea, why it was those 3 specifically? I was going to save that question for later, but I'll go ahead and hit you with it now.
Yeah, obviously St. Michael's a very obvious reason. His
soldiers,
patron saint of battle, defender of the church. St. Catherine and St. Margaret are a little harder because it's they're both
the one
martyrs.
with the dragon kind of seems like it's fitting.
Yeah.
Which one is that, Margaret or Catherine?
That is, the one I said.
That's funny because I couldn't remember either.
Yeah. The dragon makes sense. I know, especially if you think of that kind of Welsh context of the dragon being the Anglo flag. But I honestly don't know. I guess they're both martyrs, which are kind of attributed to her. But then they're both women saints that held to the faith even beyond bullshit.
That's true.
So maybe it's part of that. But these are her 3 saints. And patron saints are weird. Patron saints are so personal.
Right.
When somebody chooses a patron saint, it doesn't really always make sense.
But it makes sense to them.
It makes sense to them, and that might be just a person who talks to them.
Right. And from what I've learned from you, there's thousands of them. So
it's thousands of saints. Thousands.
It could have been very specific to her.
Yeah.
She was familiar with saints in general, probably.
Yeah, she would have been. Yeah, as a Catholic, she would have known saints.
And she knew, did they appear and were like, hi, I'm Saint Michael. I'm Saint Catherine. And I'm Saint Margaret. And was it like that? Or was she oh, what's up, Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, Saint Margaret? I know you. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
These are things that they'll probably go over in her trial. I feel like they at least talk about which language that they spoke and other aspects to try to like get her to trip her up.
Oh, they tried tripping her up in so many ways.
Yeah, they did. Okay, so you have the ultimate test is on the table is can Joan be successful on the field of battle or not?
It's such a.
And
is she good at playing chess?
is she good at playing real life chess? And it just so happens that there is the perfect opportunity for her to prove herself because, as you can see on our map right here, Jesse, the city called Orleans is right on the border between the English controlled territory and the French controlled territory.
Yeah, we're really playing a game right there. This is like putting that pressure on borderlands there.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Exactly. And even more so is that you have what's called the Loire River that runs right on the border or like right up against the city of Orleans. This is the Loire River right here.
Mm-hmm.
And what
It's
is
interesting there's so many little islands in that river.
Yes, these are like little islands and sandbanks that appear in the river. The river is pretty like swiftly moving. And I'll put this on the screen so that you guys will be able to see it. But I'm going to try to do my best to describe it for people who are just listening.
Yeah.
Because I realize a lot of time that we don't like describe stuff as much as I need to for people who are just listening. Okay, so imagine right in the middle of France, there is the city of Orleans. And right up against it runs from east to west the Loire River. This is the Loire River. And across the river is an almost 400 meter long bridge. This is a really big bridge.
It's a really big bridge.
It consists of 18 or 19 stone arches.
So that's not a small river by any means.
No.
That's like a big river.
It's a big
400
river.
meters?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This is why this is such a strategically important position right here, because it's at the very middle of France. It's the Burgundian and English territory right up against the Dauphin's territory, the Armagnacs, the true French for our story. And on the north side of the river, you have the actual city proper of Orleans, which is right here.
Yeah, I see. With
It's
the
a
walls
walled
around
city.
it, yeah.
It's a walled city. They've got 71 guns around their 10-meter tall wall that they have. So this wall is 10 meters high, and throughout they have 71 guns. There's a bridge that
That
crosses.
reminds me of like Attack on Titan.
Probably. I've never seen Attack on Titan, but I've only heard good things about it.
There's only good things to say about it.
Maybe I'll check it out. But then across the river, you have this bridge that spans almost 400 meters. And then on the other side of the bridge is the gatehouse. But this is not just any normal gatehouse. This is called Le Tourelle.
La Tourelle.
Le Tourelle is an enormous gatehouse fortification. It's basically like a giant castle
So
within
it's
itself.
like a fort on the other side of
It's
the
like
river.
a fort
Yeah.
that guards the gate, that guards the bridge, which has a drawbridge right here that you can see that goes up and will protect the city of Orleans. But the thing is that Orleans forces, before Joan of Arc, they had been fighting for about like
100 years.
they've been fighting for about 5 or 6 months here specifically.
okay.
Yeah, 100 years war overall, and the whole like meta context of everything.
Yeah.
Yes, they've been fighting for 100 years, but
But 6 months here.
specifically, it's been about 6 months right here.
Yeah. Okay.
And the English have surrounded the gatehouse of Le Tourelle, and that they eventually were able to overtake it. The French retreated across the river, and they blew up some of the arches, at least one or two of them.
Damn French.
Well, that's so they couldn't follow them.
I see.
Yes. So they destroyed the arches, sealed themselves off in Orleans, and the English began the siege on the city. The city comprised of about 30,000 people, which
I forgot we were on the French side when I said that.
I'm like, what do I speak? Oh, yes.
This is it.
My Duolingo doesn't think I speak French because of the bad score that it gives me all the time. But
I'm sorry.
I'm trying.
Yeah, well, Duolingo's pretentious. It won't let us speak wrongly.
you're right.
My Spanish score is wavering. Wavering at the least.
That's funny. So they're obviously in a pickle here at Orleans. There's been
Pickles are German. What are French?
they're in a baguette.
Oh, that is baguette. No.
It is a classic baguette here
Classic
at Orleans. For about 6 months or so, this siege has been going on. It began.
No.
in-
The yeast is rising.
The
not
yeast is
siege.
rising on these guys. It began on October 12th, 1428.
Bad day.
And the English See, what's confusing about this siege is that, okay, Jesse, do you see at our map of all of France right here, who's on the top?
The English.
Okay. And who's on the bottom?
The French.
All right. Well, when you look at our map of Orléans, who's on the top?
The French, which is confusing because that should be.
And who's on the bottom?
The English.
Okay. That's opposite of the way it is in geographically.
So we should turn the map.
No, you're right. That's the way.
No, that's the way it goes?
That's the way it is. Yes.
Holy smokes!
Yes, so
why
that
would they
makes-
do that?
I have no idea. I don't know, dude. So on the
So the
south
English are
side,
getting all around here
right? So it's hard to supply the English on the south side at the gate at Le Tourelle
because the French are all around it.
because the French are all around it.
I see.
And it's hard for the French to get any support on the
Because
north
they're
side
on the
across the
English
river
side.
because they're on the English side on the north of the river.
Damn it!
Yes. So right in the middle of the country, you've got flip-flop territories.
Yeah, you guys
So
are gonna see this on the map.
it creates like the perfect like stalemate where everything hinges.
They're both
at one
playing
time.
chess with pawns.
They are both.
That's all they have left.
Yes, they have no knights or bishops.
Yeah, they need
Or
a
kings
queen.
or queens.
They need a queen
to
but
believe
they have
in.
a pawn.
Exactly. That's funny.
Wait, that's where Joan of Arc rises, isn't it? She's the pawn who becomes the queen.
You're right. But first, I want to talk about who is in charge of the English.
The pawn hasn't made it across the chessboard yet.
No.
She's just.
She hasn't made it across the chessboard.
Yeah,
So
she's-
the English right now, their leader, he's called the Earl of Salisbury.
Which,
Salisbury.
Salisbury steak.
Salisbury steak. Salisbury is where the Stonehenge is, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is.
The plains of
It
Salisbury.
is, yeah. I don't like that name.
Me neither. It doesn't sound very good.
Like, I guess because of Salisbury steak, it feels like it's the country capital of the world.
You're probably right.
Like the Hicks capital of the world. Like they're like
the Hicks capital of the world.
Hicks capital of the world.
That's funny.
Like they have the biggest Cracker Barrel ever.
That's
This is so big.
the biggest Cracker
The
Barrel.
biggest Cracker Barrel.
All right. So Siege of Orleans.
Okay.
This is her moment. Her make or break moment is that they're sending John there to prove or
This is her test.
well, the whole thing with the Dauphin's like monarchy, claim to the monarchy, pretty much hinges upon John's success at Orleans for the most part.
Yeah, it's like she needs.
He's already dangling by a thread. Like this is his territory, and it's on the verge of collapse. Orleans is the key to the whole south of France because of the Loire River.
Yeah, because of the river and like
runs up
that's
to it.
weird like flip flop that's happening.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. So like once the English overrun there, then all hell breaks loose, or all England breaks loose, and they're going to have to run him out of France.
Yeah.
So he's like, what have I got to lose? Pretty much.
Nothing.
He's equipped her. She's got her banner. She's got her sword.
Like-
She's got her army.
Yeah.
And she heads to Orleans. And the siege has been going on since October the 12th, 1428. But Joan's first day is April 29th of the next year, is 1429. And she's on her way there. But before that, I remembered I wanted to tell you about Salisbury. We never got to the point about him. It's okay.
Salisbury.
Salisbury. Okay, so he's like this pretty smart, cunning English commander, and he's in charge of the siege right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the Tourelle.
Hate that they're there.
Le Tourelle.
How do they even get there?
They overran it pretty much. Like they tricked him into lowering the drawbridge at one point, or like the portcullis, opening it up, and they just like stormed him inside.
But they came in from like over their places.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They came across the river like elsewhere. So this is strictly the English now have complete control over Le Tourelle. And Salisbury's at the top of the tower, and it's like an off day for fighting.
Yeah, like,
sometimes they take a break on maybe like the Sabbath or
you
something like
can't
that.
fight on Sunday.
Yeah, okay, so that's what day it is. Yeah, and he's just like at the top, and he's like looking out over the ramparts or like out of one of those windows.
Yeah, he's looking at one of those cool windows. Yeah.
There's no fighting going on right now. He's just like surveying the area.
Yeah, he's looking real
And
hard.
a single cannon goes off from right across the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, shit. And he like ducks down or whatever. He realizes like it's coming straight at him. And he ducks below the window and it collides with the window and explodes shrapnel everywhere, and it takes off half of his jaw.
He looks like Two-Face.
Yes, but then he dies.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he dies.
Yeah, he's dead. And
D-E-D dead.
so the story goes that on the French side, that because it was Sunday, that it was just one of the gunner's sons was like up there just like cleaning the guns or like playing around or something. And he was like, hey, it'd be funny if I lit this cannon off right now. But it was already like aimed at the exact perfect spot. So he lights it and it ends up taking out the general on the other side. It was the only shot that occurred the whole day, was just one cannonball, and it exploded and killed Salisbury, and he's gone now.
Salisbury steak is gone.
He was Salisbury
like
steak all over the walls. It was like Salisbury steaks for dinner, guys.
We're doing this.
Yep.
So we're out of it.
Champagne,
So we're just pouring gin.
straight gin.
Just gin.
No, put some simple syrup and some stuff in there
Want some
though.
gin in there?
Yeah, I'll take a lot of gin, but also want some of that lemon juice and simple syrup.
I'll do it.
Basically the same drink minus the headache part that comes from the champagne. Okay, so Salisbury's gone, dude. He is dead.
He is gravy.
He is totally gravy. His body and organs have been dripping upon the edifices of this fortress of the Littoral.
Ugh, gross.
And there has to be somebody to take over for him.
Someone does.
Somebody takes over for him. His name it starts with a T.
Terinius.
It is not important.
Yeah. Let's call him Timothy.
Yeah, Timothy. He takes over.
Fucking Timothy. So it's Timothy.
But
Guys,
Timothy,
this is no longer our drink.
we're on provisional mode.
Yeah, we're on provisional. We're just drinking what we have left. We don't have champagne anymore. I thought one bottle would do, but apparently me and Matthew drink too much.
No, we're good. Okay. So now Timothy is in charge of the English onslaught.
Oh, Timothy.
He's not as brave or as cunning as Salisbury was.
Yeah.
He's a little bit more reserved. He's like, we're going to go for the long game, to starve him out with a siege. You know how?
So he's being lazy as fuck.
Well, you know how? Yeah. So you know how in a siege though, like if you don't have the guys to outnumber them,
you just kind of hang out for a while.
You want to starve them out.
Yeah, you gotta say, aren't you hungry?
Right. So this is the siege line. English have this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the siege line that they start all around the perimeter.
This is all land, though, and a lot of big river.
You're right. Good point, Jesse. So there's a big gap. There's a couple of gaps.
Yeah.
It actually turns out the English did not have the manpower to be able to establish a total 100% circumference around the city of Orleans.
That's what I'm noticing.
They're doing the best they can with the numbers that they have.
But they don't have the numbers.
Right. So they're spread a little thin. So they pick and choose their strategic points.
I wonder what was so significant about those points that they were like, that's what we're going with.
Off the edge of the map over here that you can't see, Jesse, up the river, there is it's called Saint-Loup Bastille, and it's up here. Mm-hmm. And the English have had it for a while, and it guards things coming down the river this way.
Okay. I see.
All right. Okay. So Joan's on her way there with her guys and her supply convoy, which is being sent by the Dauphin because when you're doing a siege, your people need resupplying.
Because it's important to eat.
Yes, it's important to eat, especially when you have 30,000 mouths to feed like they did in Orleans.
Yeah, exactly.
So on April 29th of 1429, Joan arrives on the East Bank with her supply convoy and her army. So they actually like kind of make camp further upstream because of the way the English have their guys positioned.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you have to be careful.
And they're like, the wind is not blowing the right way. We can't send our troops in there because I told you that the English have this position up here on the Champs-les-Zoup.
I see.
Is that they would not be able to like send them downriver without them passing by that fortress that the English has because they will be able to attack them.
Yeah, exactly. With their English longbows.
With their English longbows, which give them the advantage. And right now, Orleans is in charge. The person who's in charge of Orleans right now is called the Bastard of Orleans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because his brother...
This is so Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
This feels so Game of Thrones.
It does. His brother, who's the real like the Duke of Orleans or whatever, he's being held captive by the English in England.
This is so Game of Thrones.
So he's been there for a long time. So the bastard of Orleans is in charge now.
This is fucking awesome.
But he sounds like a bad guy, but he's actually a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
If we're on the French side.
Yeah, he's a good guy if you're on the
smoke
French
cigarettes
side.
and eat cheese and baguettes.
Exactly. Cheese and cigarettes.
I love cheese and cigarettes.
Me too. Oh, the person who is in charge of the English now is the Earl of Suffolk. Suffolk.
Suffolk.
I don't know why it sounds weird. Suffolk. It sounds really weird.
Yeah, it does.
But that's not what it's supposed to sound like. Okay. He's
We're
not
saying
Timothy.
it wrong.
He's not Timothy. He's the Earl of Suffolk. Okay. So the bastard, he meets Joan up the river, and Joan is kind of under the impression that she's like leading her army into a fighting situation like immediately or whatever, because she's very, very eager to fight.
She's very eager to win.
She's gung-ho.
She's very eager for a W.
Yes.
She wants a win.
She has this mission that's like very straightforward, and it is, God has told me that I am to deliver France from the English.
She's going to do that.
We must fight them like as soon as possible, sort of thing.
Tomorrow.
And
it's a weekend fight.
When she realizes that she is just there to like deliver the supplies, first of all, and that like her army is not going to be the one that goes into the city, because once your army goes into the city, then they're going to have to rely on the supplies that you just brought, sort of thing.
So it becomes tedious.
Yeah, it becomes tedious. So once she sees that, she turns to the bastard of Orleans and she says, "You thought to deceive me, and so deceived yourselves, because I bring you better help than has ever been given to any soldier or any city, the help of the King of Heaven."
She's like really thinking this is an act of God.
Yeah, she has some good quotes throughout this thing.
She is epic as heck.
Yeah, she has some like
I want to support
memorable sort of convicting quotes the whole time.
I feel it.
Me too.
Yeah.
And the bastard is like, "You can come in to Orleans, that's fine, but your army has to stay out." And she's like, "Oh, but my army needs to come in," or whatever. And they talk about that. But eventually, I'm not sure what happens to her army. I don't know if they go back, or we're just going to say they go in. But at this point, the siege has been going on for 6 months. Keep that in mind. The siege has been going on for a long time. This is April 30th, 1429. She arrived the day before. And remember how I said that the wind was blowing the wrong way for them to be able to like float down past the
I remember that.
The Saint-Jup, for them to not be in the range of the longbows. And so her and the bastard are like having a conference up there, and she's like, "Don't worry about the wind, for the wind will change and it will not trouble you." And like as soon as she says that, the wind changes and starts blowing the other direction, and they're able to like take their supply convoy barges, because they took them off of the horse and buggies because they would have to drive by the fortress that was controlled by the English. So they put them in the river instead, because they thought that it'd be like easier passage if it weren't for the wind. And then right when she said, "Do not worry about the wind changed directions. They were able to take the supply convoy down, and it was able to dock and to be able to supply the city of Orleans with their much needed food and supplies." And so like that made a believer out of the bastard right there, because he was there.
Was into it.
Yeah, the bastard was like, "Wow,
she's a winner.
Look at that.
She's totally a W." Yeah.
So I'm gonna like at least let her come to the war councils. You know,
yeah, she can.
We're gonna hear what she has to say, and so they might not exactly agree with what she has to say a lot of the time at the war councils,
because she says some pretty intense things.
Yeah. Okay. So they're at the war councils. They've got the bastard, her, and this other guy called the Duke of Alençon, who is
trust him.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. He seems okay. But they also have this guy named Lahire. Lahire is Hire.
Lahire.
And it means the porcupine.
The porcupine.
Because of his prickly disposition.
The prickly disposition.
And he's like,
I feel like I met a guy like that.
Probably. He's like swearing, drinking, mercenary type. He's not actually a mercenary that I think he's pretty like loyal to the French cause, but he's like
kind of mercenary
in his appearance.
He definitely smokes whiskey.
He definitely smokes some whiskey.
He definitely smokes
a few barrels of whiskey in his day.
Okay, fair enough.
So Lahia, he'd be smoking some cigarettes.
He's definitely
Did they even have cigarettes back then?
Probably. Back alley, smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Where's the leather jacket?
That's Lahia.
That's my hair.
I like Lahir though.
I like Lahir.
Yeah, he's cool.
I trust Lahir. He probably had a mohawk when he was younger.
He probably did, just like you did. No, but he actually ends up being pretty trustworthy and being like one of the main ones that agrees with Joan a lot of time, because the thing that Joan suggests as their battle plan is attack now.
Do it.
Yes, let's get
Do
him.
it. Get him.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's pretty much what she says every time. She's like, let's attack La Tourelle
today.
Immediately.
Today's
yes. And Lahir's like, yes, let's do that too.
Yeah, he's totally
so they have to calm them down, because the whole time, like, the English have built out this siege sort of perimeter. It's not just La Tourelle anymore. They have built like encampments around the buildings, because what happened is when Orleans went under siege, they sent orders to go out and to destroy the suburbs at the places that were around them, so the English could not inhabit those places during the wintertime.
That's the worst.
Yes, so they would have to freeze. They would have to find their own shelter. They wouldn't be able to take over the shelter of the places that were naturally around the city to begin with. And so, like, a lot of these things that you see, like these dots around the perimeter, kind of represent the English army. But this is where they took up arms and made encampments and made earthworks, which is what the videos and things that I read, which I think that means like trenches and things kind of like that. I don't know what earthworks means, but it sounds like piles of dirt. Who knows?
Yeah.
They took over existing buildings and made piles of dirt around them.
That's so lame.
So they tried to surround the city of Orleans. Is what it comes down to. And immediately Joan is brought into the city with her supplies. The people are ecstatic to see her. Yeah, they love seeing her.
Love Joan.
Yes, exactly. It's like John Lennon and Paul McCartney, like coming touching down in New York City or whatever. They're just like, we just want to touch you.
Yeah, please be here.
Please be here.
Please be.
Please me. Come on.
Joan, wear your cool armor.
Show us your banner.
Show us your sword.
Yeah, exactly.
Please be here.
So she's pretty upset that the first day that they're just like not attacking. They're not getting them on the first day.
Wusses.
Mm-hmm. But she goes and she kind of like scouts out the enemy's position, and she walks to the furthest point of the bridge that's not destroyed, and she yells at them.
What's she say?
She's like, "Yo, what's up?
Yeah, you guys wusses.
You got to surrender now or bow down to the kingdom of heaven, because I am the Maid
of Orleans.
And I'm here to kick your ass."
Yeah, God, the Maid of Orleans just sounds so badass.
It does. The word in French was called la pucelle for the maid. La pucelle. Pucelle. So she was just called La Pucelle. That's why the way that she signed a lot of her things with the Jesus and Mary thing that you talked about.
Jesus and Mary and La Pucelle.
Jesus Maria La Pucelle.
In the name of Jesus and Mary La Pucelle. Mm-hmm. That is just so cool.
She actually wrote some letters, and one of the first letters that she wrote to the English, which probably seemed like it came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine that you were teaching one of your classes and you got like a letter from one of your students that like hasn't been there all semester or something. And this is what her letter said. It said, "King of England, and you, Duke of Bedford, who call yourself regent of the kingdom of France, you, William de la Pole, Earl of Suffolk, and John, Lord Talbot, and you, Thomas Scales, who call yourselves Bedford's lieutenants, do right by the kingdom of heaven. Hand over to the maiden, who is sent here by God, the kingdom of heaven, the keys to all the towns which you have taken and violated in France. She has come here in the name of God to support the royal family. She is quite prepared to make peace, and if you are willing to do right, so long as you give up France and make amends for occupying it. And you, archers, soldiers, both noble and otherwise, who are around the Tower of Orleans, in God's name, go back to your own lands. And if you do not do so, await word of the maiden, who will go to see you soon on your very great misfortune."
She is so confident.
She is got overabundance of confidence.
I trust her so much.
Yeah, exactly.
She is such a badass. I can already say My God. She is so like,
You can see how she's gaining so much of a following. It's like
she is better than like what we would.
when you have the military like high brass, like the bastard and Lahir in them, or like maybe not Lahir because he was on her side a lot of the time, but especially the bastard who are taking caution with the type of offense that they should take. That the people were on the side of Joan who were like, let's fight now, sort of thing.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it today.
Today is today.
Yes. So that was the letter that she sent to the English command. So remember when I said that off here to the east, there was this direction. This was the Saint Loup Bastille was out there that was controlled by the English. So one day the French high command, the bastard and his guys said, we're going to attack this, but we're not going to tell Joan about it. We're going to wait till she's asleep.
Why? Why wait until she's asleep?
I don't know, but they launched an attack on it off to the east. And Joan didn't know about it until she was asleep, and some of her guys or her page boy or whatever was like, Joan, wake up.
We're attacking
They're
people.
attacking. We're attacking the English over here. And she's like, get me my horse or whatever. Get me my armor. And they put on her armor, and she jumps on her horse. And as she's running out of the gate towards the fight, she sees the French retreating because they've been like taking heavy damage from the English that are walled up there because that's their fortress. And she's like, nope, you guys, I got my banner. Come on.
Got my banner, got my sword.
Yes, here we go. Let's do this. Yeah. And so she like leads the offensive back in towards the St. Loup Bastille. And even though she wasn't told about it and she wasn't prepared at all, that like by seeing her with her banner and her sword and like the vigor that she displayed, that they were able to like take over that fortress pretty quickly.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
They were losing, and they see her and they win. It reminds me of the Moses moment where like he's lifting his staff and he has Aaron and Joshua holding his arm up, and like they continue winning, and they continue winning as long as Joan of Arc is present. But if she's not there, then it's no
Pretty much that's right, because once they take over the Saint Loup Bastille, that they have complete control over that side of the river,
which is the side of the river they need.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the supply side.
100%. And so that was on May the 4th. Remember, she only arrived on
May the 4th, Star Wars Day.
That's Cassian's birthday.
Is it really?
Yeah, he's on Star Wars Day.
Man, what a badass
The
thing.
Star Wars baby,
Star
dude.
Wars baby.
So I'll talk about, I should put a picture of him up, right?
Cassian is pretty cool. He's like a good little lad.
He's a good little Jedi.
Yeah, good little Jedi.
Okay, so as Joan was approaching the Saint Loup Bastille, the French were like starting to feel a little bit defeated. But when they saw her, they were reinvigorated because the Maid of Orleans, the Maid of Lorraine, had joined the fray and inspired them to fight harder and stronger than they did before. So they completely destroyed the English forces there. They either took them captive or they killed them. None of them were able to retreat because they're up against the river.
Yeah, exactly. So they can't run away from that.
No, they can't. So this was Joan's first victory in battle, and it was also her first taste of battle. She had not been in an actual fight before now.
Yeah, which is weird because she has a sword that's like super badass.
Well, and she's got a big reputation. You know,
she has a huge reputation.
Yeah, and it kind of like shook her a little bit. She was like kind of distraught a little bit by like the sheer amount of bloodshed and like brutality that involves war with swords and arrows.
Isn't it weird? Like she, as much as she was a badass, she was also like a little sensitive about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think all of us would be a little sensitive the first time that we experienced that.
Not me.
Me neither. But
yeah, I mean, like I'm a man.
Exactly. But it did not shake her like resolve and that this was a mission from God. It was just a sadness about like the humanity that had died.
She was not into killing people. She actually repeats that she does not kill anyone.
That she does not kill people.
It's interesting. She just kind of hangs and has a flag.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that is anymore because I don't even know what drink we just made. We just put like water, lemon juice, and gin.
I don't know. Can you pour some of the cherry stuff in mine?
For sure.
If you don't mind, please, dude.
Yeah, I don't mind. So now we're not even really drinking our drink. We're just drinking.
But it's okay. They take the Saint Loup Bastille. And the next day is the Feast of the Ascension. Do you know about the Feast of the Ascension?
I do know about the Feast of Ascension.
Can you tell me about that?
The Feast of Ascension is on the Thursday, Ascension Thursday. It's 9 days before the Pentecost.
It was May the 5th this year.
Yeah, May the 5th that year. It changes every year because it depends on Easter.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually like 31 days after Easter. It's the day that Christ ascended into heaven.
And John insisted that they take a break on this day.
Well, that makes sense because it is a holy feast day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a day of like, you're supposed to like take a rest.
Yeah. So they're not going to fight. They're going to tend to their wounded and attend mass.
Do cool, holy Catholic things.
And she takes this opportunity to write another letter.
What's she writing a letter to?
She's writing a letter to the English. And she wants to give exactly, but she wants to give them another chance, as she does.
Stop being bitches.
She gives them a lot of chances, as we'll see.
Okay.
In this letter, she says, "Wait. First of all, in this letter, that she doesn't have it delivered by a guy, a herald, as it's called, because they took the heralds captive every time that she delivered a letter before.
Hate when they do that.
Me too. It's kind of like just disrespectful.
Yeah, leave the herald alone.
Yeah, just like don't shoot the messenger, dude. He's just bringing you a letter.
Yeah, just leave him alone. Just leave the herald alone.
So she doesn't want to send it by her herald. So what they do is they tie it to an arrow.
Wait,
an arrow, and they have a crossbow.
That makes more sense.
They have a crossbow man shoot it up into the air. Pew, pew. And he's going to send it.
Star Wars. Pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew. He's going to send it into the letterel.
Okay.
So the crossbowman shoots the arrow with the letter into letterel. And the letter says, "You, men of England, who have no right to this kingdom of France.
Stop it.
The kingdom of heaven orders and notifies you through me, Joan the Maid, to leave your fortresses and go back to your own country, or I will produce a clash of arms to be eternally remembered. And this is the third and last time I have written to you. I shall not write anything further. Jesus Mary, Joan the Maid. P.S. I would have sent you my letter more properly, but you detained my last heralds. For you have detained my herald called Gwenin. Please send him back to me, and I will send of you some of your men captured at the fortress of St. Loup, for they are not all dead."
She's so kind.
She has some humanity.
She didn't
kill.
What I love about Joan of Arc.
Yeah, she didn't kill the people that they got at the St. Loup over here.
She could have killed them,
but she didn't. She captured them.
No.
I don't know what they said back, if they said anything back at all. I know when she yelled at them across the bridge, they were like, "Go back to your cow herds and spinning your wheels and
she was
making your cloth and stuff like that."
She was like, "Stop talking to me."
Yeah, exactly. It didn't do much of anything.
Yeah, because she's kind of badass.
Yeah. So the letters didn't seem to do very much. After the Feast of the Ascension and that letter on May the 6th, pretty much her forces are going to cross the Loire. From St. Lejup. They're going to go across the Loire on a makeshift pontoon bridge that they make. They're going to like bunt some boats up together, and they're going to run across.
Pontoon bridge is
this my drink, or is that your drink?
That's your drink, buddy.
Oh, sweet. There we go.
You're way more full than me. I'm so drunk.
Good. They cross the river on the pontoon bridge.
Cross the river.
On the pontoon bridge, and they launch an assault on another stronghold over here. It's called Jean Leblanc.
They say, "F you, English, we're going to fight you."
And they go in there, and there's nobody there. It's abandoned.
What?
Yes. All the English have retreated to St. Augustine's. And St. Augustine is about right here. Augustine.
Okay, so they're not far from home.
Or whatever.
Yeah, they're St. Augustine, St. Augustine. They're not far from home.
So in the last 24 hours, Joan has captured St. Lejup, St. Leblanc over here, and now they're about to launch an attack on St. Augustine, which is right outside the main gatehouse of Les Tourelles, which is the main.
Put this on stage. I'm
going to try to do my best to show you exactly.
Yeah, we're going to.
Dude, I watched 3 animated videos that were like, "This is Joan of Arc's army. This is how we're moving." Yes, and it was like moment by moment sort of thing. And it was like, "We are attacking." And you saw their guys attacking. It was like, attacking. And they're like, "Oh, we are attacked. Oh, we're dead." Okay, so I got the deal on this sort of thing.
She's a fierce warrior.
Mm-hmm. That people made some detailed shit about her for real.
Good. I'm glad they did because
I'm glad they did too. Exactly. So since I told you they're going to attack St. Augustine's now, which is an abandoned monastery, or the monastery turned into like a strategic military stronghold.
Turned into fight space.
Okay, so the French are going to send reinforcements like cannons and other like military personnel.
You got to.
You're
already winning.
They're going to send them across the river. So they send them across the river to meet up with Joan's forces, and they go and they fight against St. Augustine's. And it is a really bloody battle. They lose a lot of guys in this. It's not great for the French, but
so
they
the
win.
French kind of like is a Punic victory.
Yes, they're ultimately successful, and that is on May the 6th.
Okay. So not Star Wars Day, but like a little bit after.
A little bit after. Joan's whole time at Orleans lasts 7 days.
Okay.
And that's it. The siege had been going on for 6 months. 6 months. But she's about to end it right now.
She says
on May the 7th. On May the 7th, we are going to attack Les Tourelles right now.
She is so sick of it.
She's so sick of it.
She's so sick of them just being like, English.
I'm tired of you being English. You.
We're no more English.
No more English.
French.
And she runs right up against the wall and is the first one to place her ladder up against the siege wall.
So she's not like
she puts her ladder up there.
Wussy.
No, absolutely not. She is not La Pucelle, even though she says that she is. Places her siege ladder against the wall. Her guys start climbing. Joan is shot in between the neck.
I heard about this.
And the shoulder blade.
Like right here.
Yes, with an arrow.
That sucks.
And she said before the day started that she would bleed above her breast. And that was a prediction that she made.
Is this like another one of her prophecies that just come true?
Yeah, kind of like a short prophecy that comes through. So after she places the siege ladder, she's shot by an arrow from above, and she's carted off the battlefield by her guys, and she's taken back just like a few hundred yards away because they can't get back across the river, obviously.
So far.
And they're like, "Oh, we must call off the attack," and she's like, "No, we're not calling off the attack. Will you just like break off that arrow for me?" And then some of her guys break off the other end of the arrow, and then she pulls. She's like reaches in and like digs in and pulls out the arrow. She pulls it out herself, and she's like, shit. "I'm going back out right now."
Like if you guys feel like you're having a bad day, you.
Imagine pulling an arrow out of yourself.
Yeah, like you're pulling an arrow out of yourself, and you're like, I'm going to do this.
I don't know. I read a couple of instances about the type of arrows that they used during this battle. Yeah, and like they used like at one point there were like broad steel arrows that could penetrate armor, but also cause a lot of damage. Cause you know what I mean? Like if a broad arrow is going into you, then it's going to cause a lot of damage, but
so much damage.
But in order to penetrate a plate armor, it's going to need to be a more narrow arrow.
Yeah, narrow arrow. You have to get through my plate.
Yes, so then that needs to be like very narrow.
Pew.
Yes,
like
so
a laser.
It's probably a more narrow arrow that pierced Joan that she was able to pull out because it was designed to pierce the armor, but it didn't.
Which she was wearing. Yeah,
who knows?
Exactly.
We don't know.
We don't know. We weren't there.
Who knows? We weren't there.
We're trying to predict. We're doing our best.
This account is probably like 35% accurate at best. Who knows?
Yeah. Good job. You fight. You.
It's 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not, but it's half 1,000.
It's like,
at least.
It's like 700
plus more.
You never know. 600, 700, something like that.
Exactly.
I can't math it right now.
She pulls the arrow out of herself and
like a freaking badass.
Runs back into the melee.
My goodness, she is a badass.
You remember what you said about her standard earlier?
Yeah, I remember what I meant.
And
I didn't say a word,
but
I remember what I said.
I think that it was right here was where I read a story about how she was like trying to jam her standard into the mud. to like try to mount it, and that everyone was watching her like try to shove it into the ground, and she was like twitching with it a lot, and they thought that was like a rallying cry, and they were like, yes,
Yeah, we're gonna
let's fight more. But she was just like trying to get into the ground, and they were all like charging the walls, and they were taking down the English, and eventually they like broke through the walls. Eventually they overcame them. Their guys were able to either circumvent the walls either from below or from above, and the English retreated. The English in the Bastille, in Les Tourelles, retreated across the drawbridge, but the drawbridge was damaged, and when they were on it, it collapsed and they drowned.
Holy smokes.
Yes, so they completely lost Les Tourelles.
So she...
Yes.
Can we give a high five for that?
You're going to high five, Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc.
Yes.
Total W.
Total
W.
The English guys that were in charge, Le Bedford and... or whatever their names were.
Yeah, those guys.
They were actually over here in the siege lines in the map that you'll see.
They're going to stay there because they can't get past that.
They didn't die. The guy who died, his name was Glasdale.
He would be. Glasdale's.
He was the one who was in charge of Les Tourelles at the time of its demise. But the ones who were in charge of the siege itself were in the siege line. And Joan was able to return to Orleans the same day, the same night, across the bridge that they had repaired after they had the victory at Les Tourelles into Orleans, and was able to celebrate the victory with the citizens. And they were like, yes, exactly.
We
Joan of Arc, La Pucelle, we win this. Yep.
Yeah, we like the absolute absolute victory.
The next day, the leaders of the English were like, meeting out in military formation. We're like, let's fight for the city. And the French were like, no, why would we do that? Because that just sounds like a losing battle sort of thing. Like, why would we go outside to fight you guys? Yeah, and they're like, okay, we're going home. And they left. They retreated.
So that just was like,
that was it.
That total W.
Yep.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
It is.
Like, you don't expect such a win. Like,
you never expect such a win as that.
But she's like a hockey game that went all right.
It was like beginner's luck, but it just kept happening over and over again.
Like beginner's luck, but it keeps going. Yeah, like she always gets exactly what she wants. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm. She had a very divisive victory and was able to like make the English retreat, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that not very often.
And that was like the first step on her way to, remember her main objective was to get Le Dauphin to Reims to have him coronated.
She made it coronated. Was there any other battles that happened between there and
a lot of places after this is that she would just like ride up with her army and they'll be like, we surrender, white flag.
So no one's fighting against her because she's such a badass.
No one's fighting her. I think I've got a story. So there is one particular instance where the guys from the English side have the jump on Joan of Arc's people.
Yeah.
They have them outnumbered or outmaneuvered for the most part.
They're going to be the winners.
They know that Joan of Arc and her people in Lahire and them are pursuing her. Mm-hmm. And they divide into two parties and they say, okay, we're going to use one to entrap her and we're going to use one to surprise her.
Yeah, exactly.
And the one to surprise her is like hidden in the bushes or whatever, in the foliage.
Yeah, exactly.
And Joan of Arc's army is pursuing them and they're about to get caught in the crossfire. But before everything happens, there's this like moment of tension build up. And what happens is a stag appears on the scene. Mm-hmm. And the stag darts into the bushes where the English are hidden with their longbowmen.
Oh, no.
And it's like, oh, well, they're surprised by the stag. They try to shoot the stag. They give away their position. The French immediately realize that they are there. Their position is given away. The element of surprise is completely spoiled. And everything is ruined for the English.
Yeah,
Joan of Arc's people, they take over. The way to Reims is cleared. Yeah. She takes the Dauphin there, and that is where he is crowned the king with the oil of Clovis, which is what it says.
The most holy oil.
The most holy of oil.
The most
Clovis
holy of oil from the most holy of places.
Yes.
Probably Charlemagne. That's what I meant to say.
Yes, Charles Martel's oil.
Yeah, that's just all the oil.
It's really and oily and slippery.
So oily. Yeah.
Okay.
So
what happens?
yeah, he's gonna get like anointed with that like super oil.
Super holy oil.
So
it's got to
super.
be like the most holy oil ever. Your car goes forever on this oil.
Yeah, like you don't need to change
You don't need to change your oil.
No.
No.
This oil is the most holy.
Yeah, it's like Pennzoil. You gotta get.
And so he gets super oiled up.
He's lubricated.
He's lubricated. Got a real good massage.
Yep.
But you know what? You know what happens to her afterwards? They go to another fight.
The holy sacrament, but this the holy lubricant instead.
Holy lubricant.
Okay, so Le Dauphin has been anointed at this point.
So like he's like
The coronation,
anointed king.
Yeah, the coronation has happened.
But there's this problem that happens where she keeps on leading them into victory. But then
she wants to keep fighting, is what it is. After this,
yeah, she wants to make sure like they know that they know that they know.
She wants to take the rest of France by force, but there's a little bit of a rift that happens in that Dauphin, Charles VII, he wants to start doing diplomacy more.
Yeah, he's like, why do we keep fighting?
He wants to take the rest of the territory like by diplomatic relations.
Like marriage.
Yeah, and I don't like that, and Joan doesn't like that either, and her supporters don't like that.
Yeah, she's like, let's them up.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Pretty much.
And you know what? I don't know. I don't think she's kind of right. Like, you don't wuss out.
You don't wuss out.
And he's kind of wussing out.
Yes, he is.
Like, she's more significant than him because she's more badass.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Like, but you know what? She also is, she's kind of a stickler.
Yeah, she's a little bit annoying about it.
She's
but
like,
she's unwavering when he's just like kind of unclear.
He's unclear. He's kind of.
He doesn't inspire confidence.
No, but
or leadership.
But she does, but she's also like, I don't want the armies sleep with prostitutes.
Mm-hmm. And she knows that her objective is to get Charles crowned the king, and like once he's coronated, it's to like unify all of France.
Unify France, but she also doesn't want her soldiers to sleep with prostitutes.
And they have differing opinions about what it means to unify all of France. And Charles thinks it's through diplomatic relations, and she thinks it's through combat. Pretty much.
She also doesn't want her.
No prostitutes.
No prostitutes.
No prostitutes.
Becomes a problem. Can I tell you about that?
I mean, can you unite a kingdom through prostitutes?
Not under Joan of Arc.
Or Tyrion Lannister.
Exactly. Those two things don't work out.
He got really upset.
I wonder if they use this in this situation.
I felt really bad for him.
Yeah, me too.
Whatever her name was.
But he was a fun character.
Yeah, he was.
Tyrion Lannister.
Big fan.
So anti-prostitutes. She's so anti-prostitutes that she like starts hitting prostitutes with her like broadside of her sword.
Good.
Remember, she didn't sharpen it, so I'm not even sure what that means. She's like, pff.
The broadside.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know what broadside
it's like if you took a ruler and I hit you with like the ruler side with the writing.
Which sucks.
That's what she would do.
Always. Well, she kept on doing that.
Broadside.
But you know what she used? She didn't use like a stick like King Charles told her to. What did she use?
Bruiser.
Her holy sword that she got from the...
Oh, there we go.
She used her relic.
Charles Martel.
Yeah. She uses...
Pros Martel.
She uses Charlemagne's sword and says...
We get her out here.
Stop it.
Trailer park.
Well, one day she's doing that because she's like, they're doing like a attack on Paris because Paris at this time is owned by the English, which just seems wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like Paris shouldn't be owned by the English.
After Jean was successful at Orleans,
exactly.
Charles kind of betrayed her a little bit.
He wasn't really on her side after that. Isn't that
he wasn't. Once he became coronated as the king, he turned his back on Joan.
Isn't it weird? Why did he do that?
It's really bad. I don't know why he did that. I think because he's a weak person in general.
I don't think Charles VII is someone I would trust.
No, I wouldn't trust him at all.
Like he is like a little.
He's a little like yeah.
Like he doesn't stick with his guns
like
at
a
all.
lot, and he immediately discredited Joan. And when she wanted to like attack more, he wanted to do more diplomacy.
He was such a wuss. He eats donuts all day.
Yeah, he sucks.
He sucks. He sucks it. Like, I don't even know what I mean by that, but it's probably as bad as I think it sounds. So, like, Charles the Seventh just doesn't stick with her at all in this situation.
Like, he betrays her.
Yeah, like
he turns his back on her.
He turns his back on her, and she's been like his success
the whole time.
She's
the reason that he has any credibility whatsoever at all, or momentum at all. Other than his name, Joan is responsible for all the momentum that he has, and he completely disowns her. She embodies the success and like the will of the French people, the populace at this point. And he just says, no, not doing that. I'm going to go diplomacy sort of thing. I'm like, did diplomacy work out for your parents? Because that's how you got disinherited in the first place. Did you not learn any lesson from what they did all?
He didn't.
No, evidently he didn't, but you would think that he did because his whole life was like set on a course because of the diplomacy that his mom did during the court when his dad was like the Mad King or whatever.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like, he up by not embracing Joan in her decisions. Even if she might have been wrong, he did not let her play out in a role where she would have been wrong.
Yeah, we also don't think like everything Joan has chose, she's been right.
He looked immediately for an opportunity for Joan to be wrong and to fail at combat after she was right at Orleans and got him crowned king. Other than that, he did not let her like test her strength in any direction by giving her his full military support. And I think that that's what makes him like a less desirable player in this whole narrative.
Yeah, like he could have had legends and libations written about him, but he doesn't because he's a up.
No, he doesn't. And you could have liked him because he gave Joan the chance at the beginning.
But he didn't respond.
Yeah, no. She had success and he didn't stick with it. I don't think.
Which is the worst. Like if she was unsuccessful, sure.
That was
she was successful the whole time. Well, anyways, so they're siege on Paris because Paris was taken by a different group, or by the English, because the English always take everything. I want you guys to know we're out of alcohol, so we're just kind of fucked up now. We drank a whole bottle of gin and some champagne, and here we are.
It's all gone.
It's all gone. So, anyways, we have the English. They've taken Paris, and Joan is like, okay, I'm going.
Joan is still sending, or she's leading like military operations, but they are not without.
But she doesn't no longer.
They're without the support of Le Devant.
Yeah. So she's kind of like running on her own. Well, it is in this space that some of her soldiers are like sleeping with prostitutes.
Really?
Well, that's kind of like what we expected, right? But the truth is, like, her men are like unsubordinate. They're just doing what the they want. And she's like, quit sleeping with the prostitutes. And she whips the prostitutes with her like broadside of her sword, and her sword breaks.
Really?
Yeah. Charles VII actually gets onto her, and he's like, you should have whipped them with a stick, not with your sword.
What happens next?
From that point on, the sword allegedly has broken, and no one sees it in battle from that point on.
Ever since then.
Yeah, which is weird. Like the legendary weapon breaks, and she tries getting it fixed, but no one can fix it.
Of course not.
Because you can't fix the legendary weapon. It's like fixing the Covenant. It's just gone.
Or it's like fixing Harry Potter's wand. He can't fix it until the very end.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's some like legends of where it happened, like where it is, but like the truth is the King Charles VII says
King Carl.
He says you can't fix it. You should have whipped them with a stick. From that point on, they said that the war changes. The wars change. The wars change at that point. Like she no longer has her legendary weapon.
What war?
The 100-Year War.
It's because Charles, dude. But okay, if we're to say at the end of the day, drop everything that we do.
Drop everything.
Drop everything.
Yeah.
Joan of Arc, voices in her head. Legitimate, not legitimate. What do you think?
Well, I think like they were probably they seem like they're pretty successful, whatever they're listening there.
Okay. For the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
So Charles, legitimate versus not legitimate. Based on that.
He's a little sissy.
Okay. How do you reconcile those two things? Voice is legitimate, but Charles not legitimate because of the one that he was supposedly to be put in power.
He gives up.
Okay. That's when her voices kind of break down a little bit. Don't you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
that's true.
this
The substantiality of her like voices hearing them and leading.
and him not also following in that kind of trajectory that is like set forth by them. They kind of like set forth a momentum that should be the way that the French should take.
And he gives up.
He kind of shits on it, I think.
Yeah, he does.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like Charles is
After the victory at Orleans, he does not do what he needs to do.
he's a kind of wuss.
He takes the ascension of the throne, but he does not lead
He does
the
not
French
lead
people.
as he should.
No, so something is amiss there,
Yeah, something happens to Charles.
and he sucks.
Yeah, he does. He sucks it.
I don't mean to lead everything off base, but like that's where
That's
where
the point.
Joan's like thing is like has a roadblock. Joan does everything great. There's no
We don't doubt Joan.
There's no black mark on her record. There's no moment where she's like up for the shot and you pass it to her and she bobbles it or anything. She always puts in the layup. You know what I mean?
She's living the life.
She does that, but Charles takes the layup and just like out of bounds. You know, like he's.
So is it weird that Joan follows through, but Charles doesn't?
It is a little bit weird to me.
Yeah, like is it like the
like that like what God's influence is so much on John's side, but like not that much on Charles' side.
like Charles sucks?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like he just sucks.
He just sucks.
Like
Charles is awful.
Yeah, like he's.
This is handed him almost on a silver platter, and he bumbles it.
Or maybe he's like, I don't want to follow this insane woman. Or maybe it
leads to victory.
He kind of abandons her.
He abandons her for sure. And Copenhagen.
Yeah, and Copenhagen, she's protecting it from the Bulgarians. And like on May 23rd, she tries
Burgundians.
Yeah, what did I say?
Bulgarians. Almost didn't catch it.
Well, you know how it goes.
Burgundians.
She's trying to protect them.
From the Burgundians.
From the But she realizes she can't, so she takes up the rear guard, but is thrown off her horse. Like, thrown off her horse.
Probably muddy.
Yeah, it's probably muddy. She can't really.
Agincourt was
her
muddy.
and her brothers are caught. I don't know what happens to her brothers because we don't care about them, apparently.
It happens some to them later.
Yeah. We just, whatever happens to them. Charles doesn't even try saving her. He's like, yeah, well, she's lost.
That sucks. And they reel up the drawbridge.
She's literally
They closed the drawbridge right in front of her.
Right in front of her.
Yeah.
Right in front of her.
Copenhagen.
Just not letting her in.
Yeah.
And so she's unhorsed and she's captured by the English French. The French who support the English because they're the worst. If you guys remember anything from this podcast.
The Burgundians. What do you call it? Fair weather fans. That's what they are.
Burgundians.
There are literally times where they would like stand on the sidelines and then be like, "Oh, the English are winning.
I guess we'll support them.
I guess we'll jump on their side."
We'll get some support.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get some riches.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, they capture her because that was going to happen. There's no attempt to save her. John of Luxembourg, which I don't know if I'm saying that right, imprisons her. She tries to escape to go back to her city. He puts her in a prison further away. She tries jumping out of it, almost like a suicide
I
attempt.
heard about that.
Yeah. She goes unconscious because she almost dies. She gets better and he imprisons her.
Wow.
Like,
wait, she jumped out?
She jumped out of a tower of a prison. She's like Rapunzel, but jumps from it.
She said, I can fly.
I can fly.
Never.
Didn't fly.
Nope.
She fell straight to the ground. She went unconscious for a little while.
But she's good.
But she's good. She lives.
Good. She's good.
But it would have actually been better if she died, honestly. Because, like, after that, they're like, okay, we're going to keep her at heiress under the Duke of Burgundy.
Oh, Duke of Burgundy.
He is the Duke of a color. Like, we don't even care about him. Because of how France was at the time, they'd send her to Paris. And she's under the theologians and the Inquisition. And this is Spanish Inquisition. This is the chief inquisitor of the Theological Council, whoever that is. They're very English. So she is like being like interrogated by these English theologians.
She's been hanging out to dry.
Yeah, she's been hung out to dry. Charles VII doesn't care about her.
No, exactly.
Like
he wants to distance himself from her for what reason? I don't know, and I hate it.
Why does he quit? Why does he quit on her?
He sucks, basically.
Like, he was so on her side, and then he was just like pulls away all
just
support.
until you're useful.
Yeah, like until she was useful.
You think that he's awesome for the first 60% of the story.
And then the last 40%, he just is the worst.
No, he's the worst.
I'm so mad.
He has all the chances to do the right thing, and he never does the right thing. He
never does. Nope. He is a complete failure of doing the right thing.
So what happens to Joan?
So Joan is under these English theologians. Remember, the English guys are up. The English are the actual enemies in this story. And so they present a whole bunch of things that she's done wrong.
Such as?
It's the English.
Dressed like a man.
She dresses like a man. She's a witch. She's unorthodox. Heretic. All of those things, right?
But these are like labels, though, dude.
Yeah,
like, can I take this seriously? I don't know. Dressed like a man? What does that mean?
Part of it is because they want to discredit Charles VII because it's like, he was ordained by a witch.
Yeah.
But
because they prove her wrong, they prove him wrong.
Yeah, exactly. But they say weird things like she's no friend of the church militant, which is the church's temporal authority, which is freaking weird.
Not the army.
Yeah, that's freaking weird. That's freaking weird. Like, that's not a thing that happens. And the English church claims that she's doing something like hearing from God and hearing from saints, and that they're not part of that process. Which again is not usually a problem with any other saint, but with her it's a problem. So you're like, you guys. The English church is just being pissy about things because they're so supportive of England. They're not supportive of the universal. They're not supportive of the overall. They're supportive of the temporal English power, which, don't get me wrong, the English church would have a Protestant Reformation a handful of years from now. Yeah, exactly. Where the government took control of the church. So, V for Vendetta shit. You need to like not trust the government.
I agree.
I feel like all my classes are leading to that. All my classes lead to this state of rebellion, and I feel good about it. I feel like that's the most holy thing. Don't trust anything.
Basically.
On January 13th, 1431, as she's already captured, she's like, please let me have a mass, let me take communion.
Every time she's like this, pretty much.
Yeah,
she's like, let me do the basic normal things that Catholics are afforded.
Yeah, the things that you would do. They're like, no, you tried. They're like, no, suicide.
You did this. Yeah.
But really, she just tried escaping. She felt like it was morally acceptable for her to try escaping, which is fair.
Yes, and that's what led her to jump from the highest tower at that one point.
Exactly.
But it didn't work.
But they ended up like trying to trap her nearly a dozen times. They had 70 different accusations against her.
Of course.
Only 12 actually remained in the end.
It doesn't surprise me.
Which is still not even like worth it. Like, they were just ridiculous. They had her in prisons. They had her chains. They had like male guards. Like, they just had so much against her. They told her like they were able to get her to recant what she said. The saints were no longer talking to her.
But she thought that by recanting that would like her off on a
she would save her life.
Yeah.
She thought, okay, maybe I can save my life. As long as it didn't go against God, she felt okay with it. And so she recanted, and they're like life in prison. But within 3 days, she was wearing male clothes again. And she actually said, like, actually, these saints did talk to me about this, and what I did was wrong. They left her to and this is a weird thing, but they left her to the secular sources. They were like, the church can't burn people, but the secular sources.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, I don't understand what that was. Of course, this again is the English, but they're like, well, you know who can kill you? The secular sources.
Of course.
And so they read her
rights.
Yeah, her rights in a cemetery. And of course, she was like, that's where she officially recanted. But then again, 3 days later, again, was wearing male clothes.
She never gives up those male clothes, dude.
She likes wearing men's clothes.
I don't think it's like as much of a like as much of like a feels free.
Like she can live out her true self. Like she can.
Yeah,
live
she doesn't
out
have to worry about like the extra baggage of being a woman.
Yeah, like that's just
Who
a
knows,
problem at the time.
Who knows?
Anyways, so she's able to get like a. They're like, oh, you're wearing male's clothes again, and you're claiming that the saints actually have talked to you. So they're pissed again, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna burn you at the stake. So they give her a confession. Well, she apparently confessed to things, but not everything that they wanted her to.
Never.
Because she really felt like these things where God was and the saints were talking to her were not sins.
Of course.
And they were like, well, the church didn't say you could do that.
Oh, they're just trying to trip her up on any absolute
anything.
anything. Yes, technicality.
They're looking for any excuse to condemn her.
Yeah.
But because they're on the English side, right?
Right. It's the English.
They're the imperialist.
The English are the ones on her trial.
Yeah.
And
it's
the
not,
Burgundians sold her to the English to put her on trial.
Yeah. Stop.
So you have her worst enemies are the ones that are
judging her. Yeah. Well, they eventually read her rights. Let her do confession under a Dominican friar. Let her have Holy Communion, all that stuff. And at the Church of St. Owen, at the cemetery, she's able to like kind of create that space for herself. But they do decide to burn her at the stake. They're like, we're going to burn you to death. We're going to put fires on you.
That's what they do.
Anakin Skywalker style.
They totally set her ablaze.
But the Dominican friar holds a crucifix before her after hearing her confession. He supports her the whole time. And what doesn't burn, everything of her burns, but except for the heart. Her
heart doesn't burn.
Her heart doesn't burn. And they're pissed about that. They're like, we need to re-burn that heart. They try it twice.
3 times total.
Twice doesn't work. 3 times is when it finally burns, and they throw it into the river. Because they don't want any relics kept of her.
Yes, can't make any relics of the
Don't make
saint.
any relics of her. But the truth is, within 25 years, the Pope was like, this was wrong. And then in the 1920s, she was named a saint.
And only in the 1920s? I thought it was way before that.
Weird?
I thought the nullification trial happened like 30 years after.
The nullification happened 25 years after. But she was then named a saint because miracles happened.
The saint.
People prayed, asked her for prayers, and things happened. She was healed. People were healed. People were cleansed of different things, and they were able to like heal.
Makes sense.
And so she was made a saint. What is weird about this whole thing is like it was the English church, the English Catholic church.
They did that
turned against her because they were supportive of a political ideal.
What was their political ideal this time?
What was her political ideal? Free fans.
Yes, of course.
Free liberation. Liberation is her ideal.
But so why did they make her a political?
The English were just wanted to control everything.
Of course.
The English are so colonial.
They are very colonial.
So colonial. So she is a saint that is turned against even by her own church, and she continues to remain faithful. She continues to remain faithful to the church triumphant as
The whole time.
Whole time. She never goes against her like faith, never goes against her faith in God, never goes against her faith in the saints. She says, maybe I did some things wrong, but then she recants and says, I followed the voices I heard.
Yes.
It's weird because it's like, she sounds crazy, but also like she's right about everything.
All right. So do you think that's real? I'm gonna get down to the very end of it.
Is
her vision's real?
Well, and this is a weird thing because like St. Joan of Arc could be like borderline crazy.
She's
crazy, hearing voices,
for sure.
But the fact is, they're all right.
Yes, and
like when I hear crazy people, I'm like, "What the are you saying?"
Yeah, and I give her credit for that.
Yeah, and so she's right.
Let's say she's real.
Okay, let's say she's real.
Why those 3 specifically?
Saint Michael makes sense. Saint Michael is like, okay, defender of the church, creator of like.
Yeah.
Saint Catherine and Saint Margaret of Antioch are both martyrs, so I get that. Maybe they're fighting against this bigger
she was going to be a martyr herself.
Absolutely. And she's killed by her own people, but also like
that makes sense in and of itself right there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any more to say to that, but like it does kind of suck.
Do you think that Joan killed anybody?
No.
You think she remained free from killing the whole time?
I think Saint Joan of Arc was an image. She was used as an image, but I think she was extremely pure in heart and consistent. I don't like when you read her records of like the things she like talked about and like how she went through things. I don't think she killed anybody. I think she was extremely aware of who she was. And as much as she got other soldiers to kill people, she didn't. Mm-hmm.
That was all my questions for the end of the Joan of Arc episode. Let's talk about how we rate it.
Yeah. So how do we rate Joan of Arc? Joan of Arc herself is like, she's pretty cool.
She's pretty cool. Whatever Rasputin was, I rate her a half a point below Rasputin.
What was Rasputin?
An 8, I think.
Yeah. So should we put her 7.5?
7.5.
She herself.
What do you think?
I'm going to give her 8 because everything she said was true. But what sucks about her is like Charles VII failed her.
Yeah, he did. He did her dirty.
If Charles VII continued with like what he was saying,
I agree.
It would have been a better outcome. But he f***ed up.
He could have totally like controlled the narrative, and he did the wrong thing with her.
Charles VII is a 2.
Basically a 2.
Well, she is like a
Puceau.
Yeah, she's like a 9. But because of how he acted, he brought her down. It brought her down.
Totally.
Because
you never know.
So like we don't know what to do with that.
We never know. Okay. So the drink.
Oh man. So this
French 75.
So we drank French 75 for about half of the episode. I would give it a proper 8. Maybe a 7.5. 7.5. It was easy to drink.
I give it a 7, so let's give it a 7.5.
Let's shoot 7. Let's say 7.
No, you said 7.5 or 8, so I'll agree with the 7.5 part.
I'm willing to go down because it wasn't that good. 7.
Okay.
It was decent. It was an easy drink, but it was a little lackluster.
Was not complex, I don't think.
It didn't tell me a story.
No,
it didn't feel exceptional. It was an easy drink. It was easy to go for, but
it was good.
It was nothing more to that. It was like it was better than some of the drinks we've had.
Absolutely.
But definitely not like, man, I'm going to remember that.
Right. It was painfully mediocre.
I will forget that after this episode. All right. So, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Welcome to Legends Libations again.
We appreciate it.
And thank you for watching St. Joan of Arc.
If you made it this long, we really appreciate you. You've got more patience than I have. Subscribe, share. Tell your friends. Also, like, have you guys met Phil the Centaur? Phil. He's drinking with us. He's really, I think, our official mascot. Like, and so go ahead and share our episodes. Go ahead and share our stories. But also, like, write us. Let us know what you are doing. And let us know what you want us to write about.